You are the...
All right, welcome everybody.
Series E Apex Legends.
All of World's Edge explodes into chaos, and G2 round the corner, taking what is rightfully there.
War with our Ashe player Musin follows, and it's going to quickly switch to Peacekeeper, putting down damage quick as
that Fury starts it off with the devotion and does so much work. May have single-handedly clutched it for Vizio, and with the last shotgun shot, does it?
Let's get the games underway, man. I'm ready to go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day number 3 of the Series E Season 5 qualifiers. My name is Yeso, and I'm joined by a gentleman who you should already know very well, know his face, his voice. It is Jamerson joining me here for our third day of qualifiers. Jamerson, happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend, and welcome back here for Series E qualifiers. How are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm super excited. 5th time around. I mean, we're heading into the next season. I can't believe we've been doing this for so long. There's so many prospective players, so many teams that are trying to make it in once again. And I'm so glad that we get to continue to do this here for Apex Legends.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most fun part, fun part about kind of restarting this journey every season is we get that fresh crop of talent, all these new names, new faces, and we get to ask all these questions. What do they bring to the table? What can they change here in Series E? And how high can they go when you look at the history of Series E and all the players that have gone on to sign pro contracts? Teams like Team Esports Arena that has now gone on to join Optic Gaming, and it's just like, okay, who is that next Team Esports Arena, that next Verholst, and maybe we'll get some of those players here in this crop of talent. Of course, we are in day 3 of 4 of our qualifiers here for Season 5. The teams have duked it out through 2 days of competition, and they'll be competing now in 5 games here tonight. We can take a look at the format here for you all and see how the games break down. The teams have competed so far tonight in correction for the graphic. There are 4 qualification games. The top 20 have qualified for our finals here today. They'll duke it out across 5 games on World's Edge here tonight, and it is cumulative points over the entire qualifier. So if you make it into the finals lobby, all the points you get in that finals lobby add up over the course of 4 days, and that is how you can qualify.
Yeah, and I love this system. I mean, we did have to iterate it over the seasons. I remember in the first season, we did, if you won your night, you got your spot and stuff like that. But with the concerns that were brought forth from the players, from the community, we listened, we changed things up. So it is cumulative. That's always hard to say, but I'm really excited because it always means the best of the best. The most, consistent teams are the ones that are going to make it on. And that's what we see here in Series E. In the last season, we had amazing performances at the beginning of the season by Team Vizio. And of course, we had Team Intel showing up what they had at the end at the back end of the season as well. So it's all about consistency here, and these are the teams that'll be competing today to try and earn points to secure a spot for the next season.
Yeah, definitely a few teams to keep your eyes on. Definitely quite a few Series E veterans in this crop. Bursty coming back with a new team. Redeem should have a lot of names you recognize. Joey Blackout has competed before. Z Davis as well. Oxy has been familiar in open nights. So definitely quite a few names in there that you'll recognize. But the big team that has jumped out here at the start of qualifiers with 2 nights to go is Void. They currently sit at the top of our cumulative standings right now. They had a really great performance last night, finishing 2nd overall, and they have the top of that cumulative leaderboard, so they're looking to build off of that performance here tonight, and we'll see what they can do. But we're ready to get on to World's Edge, our first of 5 games here today. It promises to be a fun one. There's nobody that I'd rather be joining me for this than you, Jamerson, so let's get into it. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because I have not casted Apex since the latest season changes, and there are a lot of changes. We are playing on World's Edge, no changes to the map there, but in terms of floor loot, in terms of the gun meta, so many things have changed. Taking a look at the drops right now, we do have a team over here at Fragment East, but as we take a look, looks like no real fighting quite on the early game so far over at Tree.
Yeah, pretty quiet. A bunch of changes that we will kind of talk about as the day goes on. You talk about that floor loot. The Spitfire has returned. The Flatline as well. The R301 has been slapped inside of the Crafters. So may see some different adjustments for those loadouts for all of these players. Also, some adjustments in meta. Of course, from Newcastle, released in Season 13. I know you were tweeting pretty extensively about it, Jamerson. You were testing out the Newcastle and Gibraltar combination early on and how that kind of utility overlays on top of each other. What were your kind of thoughts on those two?
It's absolutely insane. Now, of course, if you end up running both of those legends, you lose out on a lot of the mobility that you would have by running like Valk Wraith or Valk Ash. But the thing is, Newcastle lives up to his name. He just fortifies positions down along with that shield. But we do have a quick early fight. Tap strafers right now. At launch currently, I believe they've already gotten one knock. They gotta be careful here. Triggered Me getting pushed now on that zip line, but they're ready to answer it as Blake drops down. Triggered Me gets one knock. It looks like they'll be able to finish off this Gibraltar in no time. So Team Valk is fun, knocked out first.
Great patience there, honestly, from Tap Strafers. Blake going down, playing around that enemy bubble, and just buys time. Knows real, and you triggered me. They're taking care of the rest of the team. If Blake can just stall out, do a little poke damage with that flatline, knows the team is going to come and back him up, and they end up coming out on top as we jump on board here with Convoke Esports. A little 30-30 action here, peeking into the building, and of course the Caustic that still remains fairly popular here. Shrill's going to throw down some of those traps, try and kind of gain some space. That's one of the things I've been noticing just more and more as I continue to watch Caustic players is, you know, Caustic has always been known as that defensive legend, right? You can hold down, create, and control space with his traps, but the best Caustic players use those traps offensively. You use them to extend your control, push forward into teams, restrict the space that they control. So we'll have to see what Convoke Esports can do with it here.
Yeah, it really is kind of the duality of Caustic. Just because of how prevalent he does become in the meta, if other teams are running him, well, you can no longer have to play him just solely defensively. If you're dealing and dueling with another Caustic, you're the one that doesn't get hit by the passive. You're the one that has to be on the front line to clear angles out. Redeem find themselves in a fight right now, north side of Lava Siphon, as Z Davis almost gets that first knock. There we go, slides on in. Dumas will fall, and just like that, Team Redeem really showing what they're made of. One of the strongest teams so far in our qualifiers, really looking for that spot in Series E.
Yeah, that name recognition, they certainly bring in Z Davis with extensive professional experience. Of course, after his time in Series E, was playing for Lazarus. As we jump over here to Precision Gaming, and they're looking for something here. One player down there for Bucky, and they're looking for more.
Yeah, it looks like Convoke Esports finally pulled the trigger and tried to push them, but now the fight has been turned onto the other side. It's Precision Gaming getting two knocks onto them, and really unfortunate because this looked like it was a fairly equal fight in terms of armors. One blue versus double whites on either side. CDE finding a fight here. Now at Thermal, Carlin has to be careful. He has been hit up, but it looks like Nyx might be able to take out one. Never mind, he gets absolutely melted there and is forced back. Luckily for CDE though, they've got that high ground, they've got the thirst. There's going to be an armor swap and some extra heals here for them. Does seem like they might be playing with two new players. In my familiarity with them, definitely recognize Carlin. Not so much Nyx and RFE there.
Yeah, jumping in here with Carlin, though, looking pretty good, able to clean up that fight. 17 squads remaining here as we head over to Inter Nerd. Miles as well as Adavon here trying to get into the building, but that's going to be a quick knock there, and it's maybe going wrong for Inter Nerd.
And we know exactly why. It's going to be Sung on the other side of this fight. Oh, they lose out on one more. Miles, the only one remaining here. Void, you said this was a squad to look out for, especially after the last two nights of qualifiers. Already proving it, they do end up losing out on our boy B. Borton. They do have that res beacon right there to plug him right back in. And with the amount of fighting that's been taking place, so I mean, they should have the space to be able to bring him back into this game.
Yeah, definitely should work out for them well. They're also well established in the zone, so it's not like they have to go anywhere. They're not in any rush to get out of the area. There's Sung with that longbow peeking through the window, hitting a few shots there onto some purple shields. So, you know, again, another name that we recognize. And this is, you know, this is standard for qualifiers, right? Players, you know, they don't get into that top three. They have to requalify. They reform new teams. They come back stronger and better prepared to compete. And Sung, certainly a name that we've seen quite a bit, you know, playing in Open Nights as well as competing in the ALGS. And that is a very talented player. Here's Jet for Gas Station Gaming, peeking up there, getting a little bit of damage, but is going to hit the bracelet to get out of trouble as the defensive bombardment comes down.
It's a little unfortunate there for Gas Station Gaming. They end up losing out on their Valkyrie player there. And so you can see that they were positioned and they were kind of prompting that they wanted to go after that res, but because they end up losing out on that Valk for right now, I don't know if he can get back into the game, unfortunately. They're just going to have to play their position. Luckily for them, though, they're on the slow side of the zone. They're on that north side, and the ring continues to pull up towards Climatizer, so they should be fine. Back on board with Precision Gaming, though, who haven't made too much of a trek outside of their drop position here at Overlook. I mean, they've already got the 3 KP, or I think it was just 2 KP, and maybe the third got away, and so they'll just be able to lazily walk in with this one. Right now, the fact that they have the triple blues, I think they can continue to take the time out here on the edges to try and poke away with the longbow here. I mean, Charlie Whiskey should be able to do a decent enough job with this longbow, even though it doesn't have much in the ways of attachments. You should still be able to get some decent work off, get yourself purples.
One thing that I've really been enjoying just in the competitive meta over the last 6 to 8 weeks or so, and this isn't even necessarily contributed to Season 13's patch coming out, is just we've seen an incredible diversity of compositions, especially, we spent such a long time with pretty much all teams set in the Valkyrie, Caustic, Gibby meta. Everybody was running it for so long. It was so powerful. And while it is still fairly prevalent, you still see a lot of teams playing it. We see more teams mixing it up. The Loba's coming out. Hell, since playoffs, we've seen the Watson coming to North America a little bit. We see H&M even running it here. So it seems that a lot of teams are willing to mix up the compositions and find really just works for their playstyle. And I think it just makes for a much more interesting competitive meta, and I'm looking forward to continuing to see teams mixing things up in the competition, because I think it looks really good as Hundreds there. Oh, nice crack there at range, has that R301 and is doing work with that bruiser.
Oh, Gas Station Gaming. I love how they're playing this. I mean, we noted that they ended up losing it on their Valk, but they're still playing this one rather aggressively. It does look like that Gibraltar was able to get their third back up, and the defensive bombardment is down, but they're not quite getting the connects that they want. Jet, though, still playing this one aggressively. He's got that Mozambique hammer point, but can't really find anything. Does look like they were able to secure at least one death box. And they're going to need that, especially because they're playing this one out as a two-man Void, looking to finish things off. They ended up getting Borton back on in, and they are sitting absolutely pretty. Take a look at that. 2 purples. They've got the blue as well. You know that they went out this fight inside of, inside of Climatizer. They're just absolutely loving things right now.
Yeah, and even Sung able to switch over to that gold shield, I should say. They're sitting pretty is the perfect way to put it. And Void has been doing a good job, poking at range. They've got the 30-30. We saw Sung with the longbow. They're going to be easily, I would say, able to farm up to those red Evos before we get into those very late circles. And even now, we see them once again peeking towards another team here in Climatizer. They are very much trying to just maintain control of this large northern building, and they're doing a good job of it here so far with all of the range that they have picked up with these guns. They should do a great job of controlling space up here in Climatizer.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they have the purples already, they've got additional loot as well. They're sitting basically in a top 5 position. It's all going to be about controlling this building well, just keeping an eye on all your angles. I don't think you really need to get aggressive on anything. Sung, you only got a gold armor. You don't really need a poke, buddy. As he will go ahead and back away. A little bit scary there, but I would expect that kind of peeking coming out from their Gibraltar. Don't really need to do it when you've got this gold, but you can see why he is posturing a little bit more. I mean, their economy is strong. He still has 4 bats. He's got weapons to swap off onto. He's got these death boxes that he can continue to rely upon towards the late game. It's all about bullying the teams away from this top 5 spot.
Yeah, and we've also just never really known Sung to be not a confident player, right? That just feels like very in character. That Sung's like, yeah, I know I don't need to peek. I know I've got a gold shield here, but like, why not? If I can do the damage, you talk about the economy that they have, he's going to feel confident. He's going to go for the peaks. And so I would say very on brand there for Sung as we jump over to Optimal Ambition, one of those teams vying for a qualifying spot. They're back in the finals once again here. They've yet to really have that big performance that we're hoping for. Nades not playing here today, but the Box of Tea still here. And this is a squad that I would say I have high expectations for, so we'll have to see what Optimal Ambition can do today as we jump over to Give No Respect.
Yeah, Optimal Ambition's definitely a team that, I'm keeping an eye on. More often than not, though, it's always, for some reason, finals games where Optimal Ambition can absolutely pop off. I mean, we saw it during the last chance qualifiers. So many things happened to them, but it was always these big Game 6 pop-offs. Right now, though, on board with Arm Assist. Ooh, yeah, you're definitely going to need help for that. He's going to need some milk. As you can see, Kiku has to heal up. Joezilla is the only one that can hold the line, but you got windows on this car, and now Joezilla slowly getting picked apart. Gas Station Gaming on the other side of this one, still as a two-man. It does not matter. Jet and ICRVR will be able to finish them off with the help of Void coming out there, stealing away one of the kills at the very least. But still, they're happy to receive that assistance, especially as a two-man to hold this down. Void, though, have pushed up more towards the northern side, a little bit out of their buildings. B-Born actually just kind of controlling a little bit more space on that north side. Maybe if they do end up having to leave this building.
So we did see a lot of early action in this game, and while, you know, the poking and prodding has continued from a lot of these teams, the kills have certainly slowed down because we still have 15 squads remaining as we're approaching the close here for this third circle. So the mid game has slowed down a little bit, but we're going to start to accelerate more and more. Space is going to start to become a very premium commodity here as we get closer and closer to the late game. As we jump on with CDE, Carlin throwing down the bubble here to buy a little bit of time for his team.
Oh man, I'm wondering if they're just losing the challenge up against Gas Station Gaming. They got another team coming up behind them now, and they're basically stuck in a spot that has very little cover. You can see Nyx to push all the way up. As the defensive bombardment goes down, he's going to try and find the right side flank. It's Z Davis on this one. So he's able to back away, but no, never mind. Nyx with the missile storm will be able to get that knock. We'll see if maybe they can get a bubble res. He does have that available, but they're basically on top of him here. Black hole down, but the one is a little bit short here. Redeem still fighting into this as a 2v3. Nades coming down, missile swarms as well. They're just buying time for Z Davis to get closer. They don't get the res. He gets thirsted, unfortunately, last second, split second there. Luckily for them, though, I'm able to back away and try and hit this res, but you have to imagine that Nyx is not going to give up on the chase. So we'll see. Joey Blackout going to run past that and see that there's more fighting going on over at Survey.
It was the zoning ultimate from RFE that he was trying to say, hey, better not push up here. We're going to take Z Davis. Ultimately, they were able to do it just in time before that bubble came down. So well played there, and it's going to be a very tricky res there for Z Davis because when you talk about this circle starting to compress more and more, a lot of teams are going to love to push when they see that drop ship if you go for the res. We'll have to see how Redeem can play it here. But back on with Gas Station, and I love it. You mentioned it earlier. Icy Jet still playing aggressive, playing confidently here despite being a two-man. And I would say it's working out. They got a few KP to their name. They're helping eliminate some of these teams and rack up some placement points. So we'll have to see how the game continues here as Give No Respect hiding in one of these train cars up to the northwest, but Tap Strafers in big trouble. 2 players down.
Yeah, and you can't tap the strafe your way out of that corner there, as now it's just up to Triggered Me to try and rat things out for his squad. It's only top 14. They do have a few kill points to their name, but we are well out of range of decent placement points here. So we'll see how much longer he can survive for. He has been spotted. He's getting chased down now. Hollow's got to be careful himself, though, as he gets tagged from across the ways. We did have another team just getting knocked out now. So 13 squads remaining here, and take a look at the pull away from these buildings. It's continuing to pull up to where we saw Team Void early on.
Yeah, that's going to be a really interesting one as well because Void have been holding on to that northern building. They can stay inside. I believe they're going to be fine. They'll have an exit if they want to hold that position, lock it down. You have the caustic, so you should be okay to stay there. But the question is how long do they want to hang out? I'm not 100% sure. I think there's a couple of small train cars that should be in that circle, but that's about it. So it's going to be a pretty wide open late circle here once this closes up. So we'll have to see what the choices are from some of these squads. Peak here at Optimal Ambition. Blake, you just hanging out down on the low here. Not much going on.
They might have to Valkyrie rotate out of this one. Now, they do have access to that gondola for now, but if they don't take this one, then it does mean they will have to rotate out of this one. Maybe they try to slow rotate, take some damage down at the lava here, but it does look like they're trying to regroup to take that Valko from behind the building. HNM, though. They're going to be another squad that's going to be forced to run across. Luckily for them, they do have Catwalk to rely upon, and so it's going to be a bit easier for them, and they're a team that's not going to have to rely upon that Valkyrie rotate. Redeem, they were able to get Z Davis back on in. 2 knocks onto Floop and onto Mar there. Redeem not chasing after it, realizing the ring will be closing in, and those thirsts will eventually come their way. But they do have a bubble res going down, and now the re-knock onto Floop here. Oxy Ares will not let that kill point get away from him. does have to be careful, hit that bat. The rest of the team now ends up showing up to finish them off.
Yeah, a little bit of a flank coming out here from the rest of Redeem. Z Davis with that EVA 8, gonna get the knock. Now with the wingman, able to get 40 on the purple shield, but does go down. Needs the support here from Oxy and Joey, as Joey's gonna fall as well. It's all going wrong here for Redeem, as Oxy trying to back away, but it's gonna take the zone damage. It's probably likely to fall here, as there goes Redeem.
Really unfortunate for them. They just were not able to finish off that fight. You saw the EVA 8 shots not quite connecting, not doing the big damage for them. And the wingman shot, the hip fire, not quite connecting. So avoids 4-team mixer, survives here. As Mars streams will go down. So these are a lot of kills that are just getting away from Team Redeem, unfortunately. Optimal Ambition looking to finish things off up against the Void. It's going to be MJ from Team Most Hated, still alive. Think about our movement character still somehow surviving throughout all of this, but looks like MJ's gonna have to give up on Mar for right now. We'll see if he can maybe be on a little bit of cover, and it seems like he might have just been able to. Rez will be coming in very shortly as he gets him behind cover.
Wow, good luck there for Most Hated. That, you know, it seemed like the team's busy elsewhere, not looking to finish off that kill on Mar, gonna be able to get that res off, and that's huge, honestly, for Most Hated. They're unlikely to get that res, but just having at least a 2-man here going into this late circle will do wonders for their chances, as now we see Void have played the slow game here. They're looking to kind of follow this zone in. 20 seconds left until it closes his song, continuing to peek with that longbow. Is going to have to hit a bat here, but shouldn't be all that much trouble. As we jump over to H&M, and they're fighting. There's a black hole out from one of these teams, and maybe H&M looking to take advantage of that Horizon ultimate.
They have to hurry. They've got 2 seconds now. The zone's going to start closing up. Luckily for them, on the other side, Bubble's already been used. That means they can get aggressive. Ack can go ahead and bubble forward, and that's exactly what they're going to do now, knowing there's just no response on the other side of this when they play around it expertly. Ack gets big damage with that PK. Now, as that Wraith Portal comes out, he's actually going to use that to push forward, get away from that Arc Star, and he falls. It's going to be Frag out picking that one up, but Moosin and all that at least gets one trade back. Moosin, the only one up now, still as the third party starts coming in. Give no respect has been knocked out here, as H&M might be next on the line on the chopping block. That's going to be BP coming in for that third party to finish things off. But Akimbo now has got to be careful. He's taking a lot of ring damage there, but gets inside of this box. He might have been safe. No, he's not. The missile storm right on top of him. Everyone is focusing him down, and Akimbo will fall. BP out. We're now down to our top 4 squads remaining. MJ working with the little cover he has left, but it's not enough. Mar does survive for the time being, and it's all about buying time here in the top 4 position. Will they push out? It looks like because of the other teams involved, no one can really try and punish this knock, but unfortunately, Most Hated, they don't have the Gibraltar bubble. They're really not going to be able to get him up, as Optimal Ambition looking to finish things off.
And this is what we were talking about. There's not a ton of great cover out where this circle has pulled. So if you're one of these 2-mans and you can't control this kind of central pillar where this building is, you don't have great protection from these teams. And Optimal Ambition feeling very confident. Caustic ultimate just to provide some visual cover here for Void. Is Optimal Ambition going to have to back away? Blakeu going to go down as the missile swarm lands, and this could be big trouble for OA.
Yeah, that's their Gibraltar player going down. Like you said, there's really no cover. You just have to play around this post. Boxa T is going to go ahead and back off. Now that's a huge window for Team Void to be able to come in and take advantage. It's 2-mans across the board except for Team Void now at this point. As Blakeu does get finished off, Mar will go down. It's our top 3. Going to be a 3v2 v1 Optimal Ambition, excuse me, 3v2 v2 unless Sun goes down. And what? Void get eliminated. Gas Station Gaming still
You're
holding
kidding
on to the
me.
spot. Now they push forward into the 2v2. A defensive bombardment has gone down. Hollow's going to try in his best to avoid that defensive bombardment, but it's not enough. Icy River now with that wingman will push up, and that Volt is all they need to finish things off. Gas Station Gaming, the team we saw losing out on their third within the first 2-3 minutes of the game, end up with a huge W here. And it's not like, JC, it was just, you know, oh yeah, they survived until the end and they got the win. They were fragging out through all points of this game.
I mean, that's the standard strategy, right? If you lose one, you just rat, right? We'll just take the placement points. We'll do the best we can. But Gas Station, not only did the zone continue to benefit them, right? They didn't have to rotate out. They could kind of hold a position, work where they were already, and they just continue to take fights and win. And watching it right there, you talk about the 3v2v1, and it's just like, dang. Void, kind of took the initial part of that fight against OA, and it looked like, okay, this should be their game to lose. But you even saw, we took a peek at the one player there, I think it was Jet, with the 3x on that flatline, just waiting patiently, watching the heads over top of that container, and just knowing if we play it patiently, we can win this. And they did it. I'm impressed. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a two-man win that chaotic of a game.
It's been a while, and remember, it's not just the win. They got a lot of kill points in that game.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Gas Station Gaming for taking the first win of the night. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 out of 5 right after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance, yeah, we're so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
right, everybody, we are back. One game in the books and 4 more to go. And man, did we see a performance from Gas Station Gaming in that first one. They kicked it off pretty damn strong.
It's absolutely absurd. I mean, you and I were just looking at the after action report there after game number 1. They ended up, losing out on their third very early on. Rambo unfortunately disconnected, couldn't get back into the game, but it looks like they made up for losing out on that one, man, because their stats are insane for what they accomplished as a two-man in game number 1.
I mean, you want to talk about picking up the slack. They absolutely did that, and then some for Gas Station Gaming. Let's check out our player of the game here for the first game of the day, and it should be no surprise here. One of the players we were talking about during the break, ICRVR, 8 kills. Look at that damage.
3,800, 3,900, yeah.
That's
Let's go ahead and round it up.
gross,
Let's just say
Jamerson.
4K. That's absolutely insane. And you know, they had to, of course, be popping off. They had to place so much control around that spot. Basically, they got into God spot early on, and losing out on Rambo made it difficult. But despite just being as a two-man, they were running around as that duo, controlling the space around them. A lot of fights were taking place. A lot of teams had their eyes on that spot. And because of that kind of chaos that formed, we saw on that northern train tracks how many teams tried to come in. Well, Gas Station Gaming were able to really capitalize on that. They were able to identify that that's probably where a lot of fighting is going to be taking place, and that's how we can gatekeep squads. So they maintained their focus on that western side, and they were definitely able, rewarded for doing so.
And we were talking about how, you know, they didn't just rat it out, right? They continue to play confidently and aggressively, and the damage numbers speak to that, right? Not only the 3,900 damage from Icy, but even Jet had 2,700 damage of their own. So that was just confident play from Gas Station, and it shows on that leaderboard. 11 kills for the squad. They sit atop the standings here. Void trailing in second place with an 18-point performance and Optimal Ambition rounding out the top 3. A huge start there for Gas Station Gaming as we take a look at our Mobile One high performance moment from game number 1 of the day. And okay, we're headed over to H&M. This is when things got really chaotic closing in this 5th circle.
But again, this is the pileup that we were talking about. Here on the northern side, we had so many squads that were trying to skirt their way basically on the north side of the map. We even saw Redeemed try to make their way here before they ended up meeting resistance and getting forced out. Gas Station Gaming did a great job of being able to identify that. Throughout a lot of this, I believe they were stealing some of the kills away. I believe at the end of this, a Jet might have stolen one of the kills throughout all of this, and so that's why they were able to succeed. They really did keep tabs on this western side of the map throughout all that action. They were laying down fire. That's how they were getting a lot of their damage as well. And so it was just a good utilization of the space that they had, and just knowing where the pileup was going to be on the map.
And credit to Moose in there. I mean, on his own, playing with that one knock shield from his teammate, the ability to survive that long, getting pushed from both sides of the train cart there, and to survive as long as he did, you know, ultimately Moosin does come out on the losing end of that play. But I would say, amidst the chaos, played that out fairly well. So credit to Moosin and the rest of the squad there. We'll have to see what they can do here in game 2 as we are in the dropship and ready to go. Our second game of 5, back to World's Edge once again. Void, they won the first 2 games last night in our second qualifier. They get into the top 3 here to kick things off. We'll see if maybe they have another win under their belt here tonight as we kick things off with our winners from game 1, Gas Station Gaming.
Yeah, and no surprises, of course. You know, central drop spot, especially if you're running that Loba, means you can get out of there really quickly, extremely quickly. You don't need the big loot. Having that Loba, having that black market boutique allows you to make the early rotations, which is one of the things that benefited them in that last game. They got that God spot on the north side of Climatizer because of it. Hold on, though. We've got to fight H&M versus CDE. I'm over at Lava Fissure here, as Give No Respect, are going to go ahead and slow things down a bit. They are keeping that team out as they're looking to finish this player off. Fortunately for them, they don't have much in the way of ammunition and guns, and so they're taking their time here. Even though they could have gone for the finish here, they will be able to take out Carlin, get additional loot.
Yeah, good start there for Give No Respect. They're on the board early on. They draw first blood in this second game. We'll have to see if they can build off of that as we jump over to Precision here, out near the edge of the map. Bucky jumping around. Seems like they've kind of gotten backed into a corner here. Very patient and deliberate play here for Precision is they're actually just going to go for the quick rotation. They're going to hit that Valkyrie ultimate, get out of dodge, and there, of course, you see those longbow shots from just east of their original position. They'll get out of trouble here for the time being as we head over to see what's going on with Redeem.
Yeah, I mean, they lost that 50-50 in game number 1, right? They ended up getting pushed, I believe. Or, actually, I can't quite remember. I'm sorry, my brain.
There's a lot of action to sift through that first game. I don't blame you.
It was a little bit difficult for that fight for them, and I guess, you know, I understand you don't like that position anymore, but it's Redeem now. Trying to hold down Lava Siphon as Oxy Ares. He's got the gold armor. He can go for that peak, but he's waiting for the rest of his squad now, looking for a separate angle. Coming in, using that Valkyrie passive to retake the roof, and it looks like it's just one player by himself. Finally, his team decides to show up, but it's a little bit too late. The R9 is good enough. Z Davis finishing off Nyx, and that will be Team Redeem knocking out a full 3-man there.
Oh, man, as soon as Oxy zeroed in the aim with that wingman, back-to-back shots to get that first knock, and it was all downhill from there for the enemy team here as we jump over to Give No Respect here, and Neg doing work with the Mozam, able to get that kill, and CDE is out.
Redeem onto their next fight. A team tried to come in for the third party. They were able to get the knock on the Zaya. And oh boy, the Gibraltar will be finished off. That's going to be Schultz going down. Valk is fun. Yeah, Oxy's definitely proving that one so far. Now Team Redeem with, what, I think 5 kill points to their name. Even though they kind of went down middle of the pack in game number 1, they are making up for lost time here in game number 2.
Yeah, honestly, starting out this game really, really strong. And this honestly feels to me like a team that is kind of momentum-based, right? If they can get those few early kills, get the ball rolling, and start kind of feeling confident at the start of the game, I feel like they can really carry that momentum into a win. So I would definitely watch out for Redeem here because this feels like the perfect start for them to get a W under their belt. And it seems like they're maybe hunting for more blood. I wonder, I'm curious where exactly that circle is going to pull, if we can get a peek at that here momentarily. But the fighting is going to continue, so don't have a breather right now. Optimal Ambition, you're up next. What do you got?
Yeah, it looks like Overlook or No Name, just to the west of it, is basically where a lot of teams are going to be focusing on. Void is already there. More teams showing up as well, and I like this. This is a 50-50. Is it going to pull towards No Name where that beacon is, or is it going to pull over to Overlook? Even if it ends up pulling towards No Name, that rotation out from Overlook is much easier than rotating into Overlook, so I'm glad that we're seeing Void going early on. Optimal Ambition has to be careful. So many nades right there as Nades ends up getting that first knock, but somehow no one falls to an explosive. So it looks like a third party might be coming in. They will get the res onto Boxa T as Nades takes an opportunity, hits the bat, and now he's going to go for that Phoenix kit here. And we able to back away and survive for now. You have to be careful. Redeem might be able to show up behind them, but I don't know exactly where they are throughout all of this, but we knew they were basically in Lava Siphon. Precision Gaming, the team that we saw getting out of dodge at Overlook, decided to make a pit stop over here just outside of that vault tunnel. Unfortunately for them, not able to pick up much despite beyond what they had in the early game. They're still sitting on the white armors along with that one blue for dodge.
Yeah, and they'll just be hoping that they're better equipped because they may have to go right back to where they started as this game continues. Crack shields there onto Bucky. Is going to hit the battery here to heal up that white shield, which is unfortunate. 30 damage away from that next Evo. But we'll see what they can do if Precision can get a couple of kills here. Maybe just create some breathing room here because, honestly, the entire lobby's on their way, essentially, to Precision's position here. They're all going to be heading towards Overlook, so the action is going to come to them very, very soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the last of Bucky's heals as well. I mean, the indicator, right? You said hitting a bat for a white armor. That's something that you never do. It's something you do out of desperation there. He wasn't even able to heal up to full. He's still missing about 2 HP. This is really bad for Precision Gaming. They got stuck out in the corner of Overlook. Maybe got a building and a half of loot before they had to Valkyrie rotate out. And so they're basically already on their last legs. Ooh. Right, shots coming out from Sung once again. I mean, it's not quite a sniper, it's still a bow, but he's got that 3x on it. He's now 28 damage away from being able to secure a purple armor. Like you said, Sung and snipers, I mean, there's something about it, right?
It just fits. It fits, and Sung doing a great job of it here early on, farming up that Evo. One more arrow here landing will be that purple Evo for Sung, and that's going to bode really well because Void honestly needs it, right? Blitz still on the white Evo right now. That's not the kind of start that you want. We've already looked at precision in that sort of difficult spot in terms of loot, so we'll see what Void can do here. Sung looking to get some just high ground, maybe peek out here into the open space just west of Overlook to try and get some more damage out, as we do see a defensive bombardment coming down on top of this building. Polar Bear and crew very safe on the inside as we peek in with Alter Ego. They've got control of this building. They've got the Caustic, the standard composition. It's the Caustic, the Gibby, the Valk. No surprises here.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting on the Dorito building. They're relatively safe. This is one of those buildings that just can be incredibly difficult to push because of how elevated one of the exits are, right? A lot of teams leave themselves vulnerable just trying to climb up, and with the amount of teams here, you can't really take that chance. That split second of climbing up onto that railing could mean you get beamed by so many people around you. So Alter Ego should be safe. They've got that Caustic like you mentioned. Nothing really should happen to them. Really, if anything, someone needs to poke out on that platform, make sure that they don't get dropped on by the Valkyrie teams right now. Arm Assist actually making their way across this ledge, and they're about to run into Precision Gaming on the other side of this hill here, and we know how desperate the situation was for Precision Gaming, so Arm Assist could get a huge advantage in this fight, but looks like more fighting is actually taking place as Arm Assist are just going to go ahead and back away into the vault tunnel. They do have another team ahead of them as they get peeked. Marksman might go down.
Oh no, this is going to be so bad for Arm Assist as the black hole has already come out, and Marksman is just trying to hit the bat, trying to survive here, but Mixer's doing work. They've got 2 kills there and make it 3. Arm Assist wiped as soon as they get into the cave.
Yeah, it looked like they didn't get the message, right? The bubble went down early on, and usually the bubble is we heal here, we stabilize, and then we try to push into a position. Trying to just push into a vault tunnel, trying to push into any cave is suicide if you're not full HP. We know how many teams like to lurk around, and the Mixers, as soon as they heard that blast door opening, they all turn around onto it. They all show up. You saw the black hole going down from Hoshi as well. They were prepared for any entry.
And it just felt like they put themselves in really like the toughest possible position, right? They went for the redeploy, landing in the middle of that open space and just having to hug the wall and hope they could kind of find a crevice to hide in. And they placed themselves in between multiple teams instead of going for more a south to north push through the tunnel to try and work your way up there, fight kind of one team at a time. They placed themselves right in the middle of the action, and it comes back to bite them as they go down in 16th place. And Mixers, they're just very happy that that KP got delivered right to their doorstep. I mean, they must have called DoorDash because they showed up right in time.
Yeah. their cell phones were just absolutely popping off, you know. Hey, we delivered it. Let us know how you did.
Yep.
Did you like it? You know. But at
yeah.
Point,
Wait, where's my tip? Okay, come on.
Like, one of the things you have to, I feel like this is just like a lot of experience, right? Because we know these are a lot of hopeful teams, a lot of teams that we're not used to seeing, a lot of players that might not quite have the competitive experience. Like you said, just kind of barreling into that cave is weird. It's awkward. Because you do have that moment. You have those bins outside of the blast doors that you can be using for cover instead. You don't have to full commit to the inside of it to be safe. You can just hide behind those bins that we've seen plenty of times. Plenty of squads being able to exist, even with the squad inside of those doors. So I think it's just going to be a lesson for them moving forward, making that rotate. You know, you can stabilize off of bubble. You can stabilize off of bins.
Yeah, and it just feels like standard. It's the thing we see in almost any esports, right? Those new, young, up-and-coming players coming into the scene, they've got the raw aim, right? They've got the mechanical skill. It's just the decision-making, the macro play that needs to be polished off, and it requires that competitive experience. So that's, you know, hopefully, if they can qualify for Series E, what they can get from this experience is that is Sung going down, but a very quick response. Blitz on their way here, going to get the easy res inside of the bubble, and Void will back off to safety.
Yeah, Sung's still sitting on that blue armor, surprisingly enough. I mean, last time we checked in with him, he was at, what, 28 HP? Unless they swapped around armors. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that probably makes more sense here. I mean, Blitz does have a decent amount of damage, 246, but yeah, it's not enough for the purple on his own. But with that 30-30, he could definitely put in that work as well. But right now, Everything's looking good for Void. They're controlling one of the best spots inside of Overlook. They have all the tanks in control. It looks like they're doing a good job of keeping an eye on all the angles of approach from this backhand position, and they're going to be able to pull up this beacon for us as well. And so as they plug that one in, they should be fairly comfortable knowing that, yeah, this ring continues to pull towards them.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that Void is disappointed at this point in the game is that Precision decided to rotate out of the area. I feel like Void would have been like, they would have loved that KP if Precision decided to donate it to the rest of the lobby. So we'll see. I have, no issue with what Void has set up here. They should be feeling very confident and very comfortable. As you can even see now, that circle is going to pull closer to Overlook. It's not going to entirely cover that POI, but Void's still in a very good spot. As we jump over to Redeem, Joey Blackout is down and likely to get thirsted as Oxy follows very quickly afterwards, and it's just Zeke Davis remaining for Redeem.
Yeah, Redeem trying to do a very similar rotation to what they had in game number 1. Where they wrapped around to that north side and then snuck on in. This time around, though, looks like the high ground was a little bit too strong. Forgive, no respect, controlling that. Void, though, they finally get challenged. The full team ends up landing above them, but not for long. Bourne already got 2 knocked and a thirst, as Bourne now looking to finish things off, pushing forward. Doesn't even get tagged, but he is going to be forced back. Almost, no, never mind. He goes for the re-challenge here as another nade lands right on top of them, forcing out from the roof. Demonic Tim will fall. Void will not allow any challengers to survive here on the mountaintop.
And I love that for Borton, right? You've already got the 2 knocks. You know you're playing the 3v1, and you've got the backup from your team. If you get knocked there, it's an easy bubble and a res, and you're not scared of the push. So Borton rightfully feels confident there, goes for it. It ends up grabbing, again, another KP there for Void, and they're looking very, very good for this late game. 13 squads here still remaining. We jump over to Gas Station, our winners from game 1. Doesn't look like they have a ton of KP to their names, but they've got purple evos across the board, so they're going to be feeling very comfortable on the northern edge of this zone.
Yeah, again, very similar play style. I mean, it makes sense, right? They are coming from the north side of the map, and so hugging the edge here, being able to play off of that Loba works out for them. If they knew, that they had so many free spots they could have actually taken at Overlook, sure, they probably would have gone for it. Any other lobby, there would have not been a single building available, but there are still a lot of spots open for them. Right now, though, they're just playing that flex position. They're playing their options. What if this ring ends up pulling away and goes over towards No Name? Let's go ahead and keep that available for us. Let's not kind of really pin us down into one location. But now that they see that this ring ends up pulling into Overlook, that there are a few buildings, that machine shop in particular, looks like that corner of the machine shop is in, they're gonna go ahead and go for it.
We'll have to see what they can do here. Not sure if there's a team inside of this building right now. It would appear not. Looks like it's going to be uncontested. Icy playing it slow, coming in the door, but that should be the green light here as Gas Station going to get some important control of the area. Player up on the building across from them as we go over to H&M. It's the rotation here. Hundreds pretty low on health there. Is going to be able to get off at least a cell, and the ultimate from Moosin will help those shields get recharged pretty darn quick. Now peeking with that charge rifle, looking for some damage on the backside is Ack, and this is kind of a tenuous position. I mean, the Watson fences will cover at least one part of their backside here, but this is not going to be the easiest spot to defend.
Yeah, the majority of teams are coming from that southwest side, right? There are so many teams coming in from No Name here, and oh no, that bubble was just a little bit short. Ack does not cover his teammate. They lose out on one. That's Hundreds going down. Defensive bombardment's not really going to work out here, unfortunately, for H&M. Everything goes wrong. You've got... Yeah, you can see that the pylon is there. He eats up everything. Hoshi coming in for the third party now with Team Mixers looking to take advantage. With that pylon going down, they'll be able to get the knock onto Neg and continue to push forward. And just like that, too many teams coming in from that southwest side. They weren't really ready for it, unfortunately. Too much focus being put onto Void that are playing on top of the tankers there instead of clearing out that back as the rest of the rotations come in.
Void's going to get a nice little red Evo swap up there. Nice little gift jumping into the area after clearing H&M out of this spot. Now Saucy, the only player not on that red Evo, but it shouldn't be a problem here for Mixers. They've looked really good this so far. At least 5 KP for the team, so they're in a great spot here in game 2, and I'm very curious how Void is playing it over there. I imagine they're taking their time as Inner Nerd, meanwhile, try to peek around this enemy bubble, looking to cancel that bat, and they will. What else can they get as the defensive bombardment comes down?
They did lose out on Miles, but his bubble's already been used, so he's basically out of the fight for the next 20 seconds now. But Inner Nerd Gaming, we'll see if they can recover. They do have the wall of barrels going down, which might provide some cover. Pax is up top as well. They're in a small little bit of a ditch that allows them to try and go for that res, but the nade comes in for the re-knock onto Miles. But that does actually knock them back into another little ravine, but they're getting flanked from behind. Inner Nerd Gaming only left with a Duvant here. As the teammates, it looks like they might have been able to climb down a little bit lower, and there is an opening, it seems, for them to try and go for that res. But again, it's a war on 2 fronts. You got someone to your north, you got someone to your south as well. Now that noise might attract the attention of that peak. Void trying to hold down their spot, losing out on 1. Blitz needs some time to heal up as well. Borden 2 as Tap Strafer ends up going down. I think it's going to be a Voids helping them out, keeping them alive for now. And the res does come out. Inner Nerd Gaming still have not been able to stabilize here. It looks like there was a re-knock, unfortunately, onto Miles, but that bubble might play a huge role in this fight. Zaduvant still trying to play around these barrels, backing away. He gets tagged now. Gas doing some decent work here, but it's just too much. Optimal Ambition was able to push as a full 3-man to clear them out.
Honestly, well played there from the remaining member of Inner Nerd, though they're going to go down as MJ with beautiful timing. 2 knocks with the wingman, and good night. Optimal Ambition, they're out. Void quickly follow as well. Also important to mention, a few minutes ago, Redeem got knocked out. I believe it was just Z Davis ratting it out for the squad. Redeem taken out. We're now 5 squads remaining, and guess who's back in the final circle? It's Gas Station Gaming.
They're able to push up. They're at where Void was playing just beforehand.
Oh.
Mixers, nice shot with that Kraber. They'll be able to take out MJ. Hoshi, though, Void's gone down. It's down to a 1v2, and Mixers do survive. Picking up the 3 KP, they're taking out Most Hated. But Voids will fall as he ends up getting thirsted now. Oh boy, they still have to run in with the zone. You can see that high ground being controlled on the tankers. Hoshi really trying his best to survive, but Saucy, the only one up now for Team Mixers. Small corner to play off of here. Now he's going to be very familiar with that for the next minute or so, but we'll see how much longer he can survive. You can see everyone trying to secure that KP, but now Gas Station Gaming turning their attention to the team below. Big nades connecting for Gas Station Gaming, and they are on the verge of getting the back-to-back. It's not going to be with as many kill points as they got in game number 1, but it's still going to be another plus 12 for them left in this 3v2v1.
Yeah, I don't think Gas Station is going to much care. Also, do want to mention, Mixers, while they likely are not going to win this game, it's been an incredible performance. They had at least 12 KP, and Saucy is still alive over there. The attention has been drawn away from the final member there of Mixers, as Gas Station fighting around these big tankers. That's going to be 1 knock on to highlight, and Give No Respect is gone. That should be back-to-back wins for Gas Station. They're just going to hunt down this final rat, clean it up, and that's 2 for GSG.
2 games in a row. They had a 23-point game number 1. They just picked up another plus 12 with, I imagine, around 7 kill points, I'm going to venture a guess, throughout that game. What an amazing start for Gas Station Gaming.
Honestly, and interestingly enough, we get back-to-back days for qualifiers where the finals start off with the same team winning the first 2. It was Void last night. They end up finishing second overall behind Most Hated. Now Gas Station Gaming off to a hell of a start here, and they just look unstoppable. I mean, you can't beat them when they have 2 players. You're going to be hard-pressed to do it when they have the full squad available, and they can get that high ground over it. Overlook, really just well played top to bottom here. 2 really clean performances from the squad, and they've got to be feeling really confident with 3 games to go.
Yeah, I mean, we know how valuable gas is right now, so it's a great time to be a gas station, if anything, and especially a Gas Station Gaming fan. So 2 games in the books. That's Gas Station Gaming with the back-to-back wins. We're going to take another break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3 of Series E qualifiers right after this.
What's up, guys?
Tyler Andrus, CEO and founder of Esports Arena. And did you know that Esports Arena is located inside Walmarts all throughout the country? We're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now at one of our awesome Walmart stores. Let's go take a look. Fantastic, right? So typically in the front of the store, you see you got a Subway here, you got some Walmart services, but right there is the Tulsa Esports Arena. Right up front. So literally, if you're just doing some grocery shopping, you're gonna check out over here. Simple as that. Or you could check out right in here. We've got Calvin, my man Calvin right here. Hey yo, log me in on station number 8.
You got it, Tyler.
All right, I'm getting logged in. We're gonna go play some video games. Look at that. The best video cards in the industry. The best CPUs in the industry. The best gaming chairs in the industry, the best Razer peripherals in the industry, the best monitors that let you hit that 200 frames per second in the industry, no screen tearing whatsoever. All right here at Esports Arena. Now I'd let you keep following me along, but I got a tournament to play tonight, so I'm gonna get some practice in.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the bars and the breaks, I'm talking one chance that I was so going for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gents, 2 games down and 3 more to go. We kick it off with back-to-back wins from Gas Station Gaming. They are performing incredibly well so far today, and we'll have to see what they can do in the last 3 here of tonight's performance. And now we come into these next games, and it's like we haven't seen that big performance quite yet from Void or Redeem or Optimal Ambition. They're getting in the mix, but then it's just like, okay, when are these other big boys going to jump in here?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for especially Team Void. We've seen them in 2 great spots, 2 games in a row. They just haven't been able to close things out, even though they've been in amazing positions. You feel like with spots like they've been able to play, they should be much higher up in terms of points, but they haven't been able to find the frags as much. And I feel like that might have just been, you know, a game that they should have won. They should have won, or at least gone top 2, top 3 in game number 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's check out where they are at in our standings so far here tonight. Of course, we'll be not surprised whatsoever to see who is at the top of the standings, as Gas Station up there with 43 points, courtesy of back-to-back victories. Mixers, with that huge performance, jump up into second at 26 points, and Void right on their heels at 25. So it's very tight there in that top 5.
Yeah, Mixers ended up fragging out fairly well. They were the survivors, essentially, of that big scramble to the south of the tankers that Team Void were playing off of. Mid-game, when there was about 10 teams left, they already had about 5 or 6 kills. I think they might have had 10 or so by the end of game number 2.
14 overall.
14 kills. Okay,
yes.
So most of these points basically they have right now coming from game number 2. You can see why one good performance in a game can definitely change your favor a lot. But right now, it's 2 games in a row for Gas Station Gaming.
Yeah, we jump in here with our Mobile 1 high performance moment, and it was the back-to-back wingman shots here from Oxy. Redeem, hey, they started this game really, really well. This fight, again, we talked about it, that kind of momentum-based team where they can really get going, and they looked good early on. Oxy's aim really clean here to start it off. They get a couple of knocks here and, you know, get that first squad wipe of the game, and at least getting some points up on the board. We'll have to see if they can, you know, clean up that mid to late game play here in game number 3, because I have high expectations of this team. All 3 of these players, very, very talented. I've seen a lot of good things from Redeem when they've been competing over the last month or so, so we'll have to see what they can do.
Yeah, it looks like we are heading straight into the next game as we're joining, of course, on board with Gas Station Gaming. No strangers over here towards Landslide. Now, one of the things I do want to note, for Team Redeem, right, we do have heavy expectations for them, high expectations for them. I think one of the things that's kind of working against them is that they keep finding themselves right in these early game fights, but they don't have a composition that succeeds extremely well on the edges, because they end up getting into a lot of fights where they might need some more tools that a Watson generally doesn't provide. I mean, that's why in the meta for the last couple seasons, it was more a composition that could react to being able to be put in that position where you're playing off of edge.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can do this time around as the circle headed to the opposite side of the map. Our first 2 final circles, we had one just northwest of Climatizer. That last one centered on the western edge of Overlook. We're headed to the opposite side of the map here, as it looks like we're going to end somewhere around staging, maybe up a little bit to the northwest of that POI, which should be a great rotation here for Gas Station, as you can already see them working their way south. Team coming behind them very soon as well. And now we can take a look at Sung and the squad here, as things look real nice here in game 3. They've got a little ways to go, though.
Yeah, luckily for them, of course, just because, you know, a lot of times when we do have these like western or southwestern poles on the ring, teams and Climatizers typically perform quite well on the playing off the edge. So I think they should be fine. For Team Void, though, over at Survey Camp right now, purple along with double blues, they've got decent sight lines around them. Unfortunately, the shots quite aren't connecting for Sung there. Should have been really nice if he could have landed 2 or 3 shots along the way. Might have had a purple there, but they do at least force them back. So Team Void, they're just going to continue to move on. They're going to be able to commit to the edge and maybe try and pick up some beacons along the way. This is definitely one of those rings when it does pull away from you so heavily that you can just take your time and try to find some beacons along the way. So they're going to be fine slow playing this one.
Should be great as we jump on with Gas Station. They've worked their way south here into staging and looking to just control some of this space. They've got double purple Evos already, and Rambo with the purple, so that's a great start in terms of the loot for Gas Station Gaming. They'll be set up very, very well here in game number 3 as Convoke Esports supposedly on the chase here. The bow check out for Demonic Tim. Not going to land that first shot, but they're going to try and get some utility inside of this building. Hello, why are you looting? There's a team here.
What happened to that door? The door usually opens inwards. Did someone from the
I
other
know.
side open the door for them? Well, I mean, there's no reason to have like a Ring doorbell at that point. But yeah, that CAA completely knocked out. I don't know what happened to them, and CAA have no idea what happened to them.
Yeah, I realized as soon as I said it, I was like, wait, you should be fine. You're blocking the door, but apparently not. It didn't work out. And Convoke Esports, they get the wipe. That's a great start.
It's like, did someone maybe like miss the Black Market Boutique and accidentally hit the door and open it? Like, I don't even know.
Right? That would be my guess.
Here's Tap Strafers now. Down by launch currently. They did some decent damage, or well, at least Triggered Me did, but the rest of the squad wasn't there really for the follow-up to try and push in. That team has made their way out of that room, though, and are starting to create some space. Great crack out from the Valk player here, and they're going to try and take the skies. Oh, my goodness. Trigger Mini takes Joezilla out of the air, and oh, my goodness, he is a one-man wrecking crew. Real shows up to get a knock onto Kiku. There it is. They finish off Arm Assist.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go take a shower real fast. That was disgusting, Jamerson. The aim so clean from you triggered me. Absolutely beaming with the car. Gets the Valkyrie to flesh. And then the one perfect chef's kiss shot from the 30-30 in the middle of the redeploy to knock the Valkyrie, and they just get to easily clean up the rest of the team. That was magnificent from you triggered me.
Yeah, I believe it was like 106 with the car, and then had to follow up with a great shot with that 30-30. 30-30 typically not the gun you want to follow up with when a Valkyrie is taken to the skies, right? But it was close enough, and he absolutely punched them. Here's Team Redeem, though, who have been fairly active in the early games for games 1 and 2, and looks like they're doing something similar. This time around, though, they are controlling the southern side of this ring from that exit of Thermal Station. They have a lot of space to cover here, so they do have to be careful. Luckily for them, though, a lot of action's already taken place. We're already 3 teams down, so this position should be much easier for them to hold. There shouldn't be as many teams that they end up running into, which is, you know, the problem that they had in games 1 and 2. When they try to swing north, when they try to play slow side, too many teams were having that similar idea. This time around, I don't expect too many teams to really make their way into Thermal. Everyone's going to focus on getting into that staging area, and especially here on that northwest side, like you had pointed out early on, Yeso.
Yeah, a lot of teams starting to gather in this area already. You can see everybody just trying to find those bits of cover, those small positions that they can get control of, because they know the rest of the lobby is on their way, and they want to be set up and ready to go for when these fights arrive. Convoke Esports, we're over at Harvester. I'm used to, I feel like every time I go to Harvester, I just have flashbacks to the CLG XSET 50/50s. And it's always so weird when we come to Harvester, and I'm like, wait, nobody's fighting. It's early game. What's going on? Come on, I want some blood at Harvester.
It's okay. XSET are still having flashbacks of that as well.
They're waking up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night.
Every night at this point. Team Void, though, they have been so good in the last 2 games about getting an early game spot. This time around, they're going to slow things down just a bit. They're going to try and find the fights on the edges if they can, try to commit to the northern edge. Unfortunately for them, they are getting gate kept pretty hard. We have a lot of teams here on the north side, so this could be a bit more difficult than they were expecting. Typically, when we have these staging circles, a lot more teams are going to be in that staging area. Hold on, though. H&M find themselves in a fight. Never mind, it's already over. Convoke Esports have been knocked out, and Moosin was really the only one that took a deadly amount of damage there. So it's going to be a quick reset. They're already prepared for the third party as well. All
I'm going to say is H&M understood the assignment. They showed up at Harvester, and they were like, we know what Yeso wants. Let's go take out Convoke, and they took care of business there. 3 KP there to their names, and they now control just outside the eastern edge of the next zone. They're going to be able to loot up real nicely here, get their shields up thanks to that ultimate from the Watson, Now as we jump back over to Void here, Sung trying to farm up that Evo as best he can. Doesn't seem to really be going in his favor, though, as I feel like every time we jump over to Void, Sung's in low health, having to heal back up. So Void in a really tough spot here in Lava Fisher, trying to get those Evos going and get into this next zone. As you can see, that team very clearly has the gatekeep set up here, and Void is going to have a very difficult time.
Yeah, okay, so this ring does end up pulling towards Hot Springs. A circle that we don't see as often. No, lately it has been favoring more towards that staging area. It feels like there's some pull about staging with the algorithm, but the teams that end up getting in Hot Springs definitely happy with it. They have buildings under control. It looks like there's a full squad on what should be the beacon platform. The beacon is not there, though. So teams still are not sure. Void doing what they needed to. The gatekeeping was going to be way too hard. There was almost no way for them to try and make a pass. And
oh
no. Say adieu to Team Void fairly shortly here as Aduvant is able to get that first knock. The only thing that saves them now is that they have this building cover to work with. A defensive bombardment is going down. Inner Nerd Gaming coming in. They've got that Nox gas grenade with the re-knock onto B. Borton, and Adieu is ready to do it once more to knock out another full squad. There it is. Sun going down. It's down to a 2v1, though. They're taking a lot of damage, but it looks like Void will be knocked out. Inner Nerd Gaming do so and get the res onto Aduvant, and no other team is there to come in for the third party.
That was such a beautiful push there from Inner Nerd. As soon as they get the knock on the Valkyrie, they know exactly where to go. They have the Caustic ultimate ready. They just drop the gas inside of the bubble and say, yeah, sure, you want to sit in there? Fine. Take all of the damage you can to my gas, and you can just come out and meet us outside of the bubble when you're ready to go. So really cleanly played. They absolutely wipe out Void, and we said it. They were in a really tough position, and they had to get that Valkyrie ultimate off. Otherwise, they were going to be in big trouble, and it ultimately doesn't pay off. And so Void, the struggles continue here today as they get taken out very early on in game 3, and now they'll have to find some sort of reset. Hope they get a little bit of a better break in game 4. As we jump on with Mixers, they had a huge pop off in game number 2, and they're looking to build off of that. They haven't seen much action here early on in game 3. We'll see what else they can do as we jump back over to H&M. They've moved out of Harvester, and they have found themselves a fight here. Is Moosin gonna go down?
Moosin again getting caught out to that defensive bombardment, and Aka just used his bubble, so they're not gonna have that fast res. He does at least drop down into this fissure, but Hundreds has fallen. Blake picking that one up with a with that flatline. So Axe just gonna have to give up on this one. He's gonna try his best to rat this one out, but he's cornered. He's a rat and he is cornered. So this is a really tough spot for H&M, who honestly with that early game looked like they would have a decent spot, but it's gonna be Tap Strafers who are on fire here in game number 3. I mean, triggered me. Already got that highlight reel. He got, he definitely got my voice on his highlight reel. I know that for sure. As Real now coming in for that kidnap to, or at least try and get that re-knock, but not gonna be able to get the critical damage quite yet. Still in 2v1, pushes forward as he gets that goodbye damage off, but unfortunately Tap Strafers not really peeking out to try and finish things off, and it looks like it might be the presence of other squads showing up. Real goes down. Optimal Ambition from staging with that 30-30 will get the knock. Gold bag res though will keep Tap Strafers up. You can see why you need to drop down into that chasm. If a team ends up showing up, no one can peek down. You are safe. It's CDE ends up helping out that squad below.
That felt like such a misplay. They played so conservatively. They know they have the 2 knocks. They can finish those kills and possibly bait out the push from that third member to clean up the squad. And instead, they send one player down for the challenge. The res actually comes through, and H&M somehow survive. They're completely healed up. They're going to get the redeploy. How is it that H&M came out on the losing end of that play?
Yeah, we've seen in the past why that position, even though it looks like it's vulnerable, right? Any team can look down on you. Well, that means, there's 2 different sides that teams could be playing off of, and neither can really go for that peak. So H&M, they do a good job of surviving for now, but will they be able to survive this push? They've already gotten cracked. Hundreds goes down once more. That's going to be Obsessed picking that one up. And Moosin might be the next one to fall as Ak is just hitting that, and they are stinking up the place with that gas. Optimal Ambition, will they be able to come in? They do at least steal away one of the kills. Optimal Ambition do onto Ack, but they don't get much else off of that still, though. Good mid-game pickups for them as they're controlling the south side. Currently, CDE, though, in a fight over at Landslide. Pushing forward. Bubble has been used. Carlin has been isolated inside the straight guard. He will fall. Nyx now trying to cover his teammate here as they're trying to thirst him. Carlin, though, with that knockdown shield, providing some decent cover, but Nyx needs something else. You cannot have that longbow in this position, unfortunately. He just somehow gets out of the gas to survive. Hits up that bad as he slides on way, and it looks like CDE, they'll at least survive as a two-man. Won't have an opportunity to get Carlin back into this game, though.
Well played there, RFE and Nick, able to get out of trouble. And you want to talk about by the skin of your teeth. You can almost barely see that last bit of health from Nick, and Nick's actually going to go down.
Yeah.
Adu able to get the knock there, up on the high ground with the charge rifle.
Not entirely too sure what happened to Pax here for Inner Nerd Gaming on their rotate. It does look like there might be an opportunity to try and swing around. 30 seconds remaining on that banner, but it's now Mixers controlling the south side. They've got a team backed into a corner here. That's Tap Strafers going down. Mixers having another big pop-off game. A number of kills that they've been able to pick up here. We're now down to 11 squads, 29 players remaining.
Yeah, Mixers have got to be feeling really good with how they're playing right now. You talked about, you know, almost all of their points coming from that last game. They had 5 points going into game 2. They picked up 21 thanks to that huge performance, and they're looking to put a nice big chunk up on the scoreboard here once again. 11 squads remaining. Another team that I want to check in on, we haven't talked about them in a little bit here, but they were the talk of the town for the first 2 games, is Gas Station Gaming. Where are they at? Where are they set up in that zone? As we jump over here to Inner Nerd, Pax Respawn has timed out, so it will be the 2-man of Inner Nerd here working for the rest of this game.
Could be the big boys. You know, it's luckily for them, at least, you know, that are basically on the edge of the zone. They don't really have to make it far, so utilizing a skyward dive isn't quite as necessary for them. There's going to be small little crevices for them to play off of, and with the barrels, with the bubble as well, they should be able to survive. There's going to be a small ledge that they should be able to play off of here once they drop down off of this bridge. And you can see there is coverage down there. So things are okay for Inner Nerd Gaming. They've gotten some decent kill points. I believe maybe 5 or 6 as Adu's trying to do it again.
Oh,
he's got that charge rifle. Looks like maybe Box of Tea was able to get that one. Now they just need to secure the thirst here. 77-6. Don't know how the rest of that didn't tick away. Optimal Ambition a little bit pissed off that, hey, they're trying to steal our kills here. I'm gonna go ahead and send a message to them, to Inner Nerd Gaming on the bridge.
I guess we see that Valkyrie nerf coming into play, right? One of the adjustments that we saw for Season 13 was that ability to free spin in the first part of the ultimate taken away, because you see a lot of Valkyries do it to try and, you know, give themselves cover from all angles, because, of course, Valkyrie is the priority target in that ultimate. If you can knock the Valkyrie, you cancel the skyward dive. So now we've seen, I think, 3 times in this game alone, those Valkyrie players getting knocked. So we'll have to see if that continues here, as Most Hated in a tough spot here, backed up against the edge of the zone. We already saw Mar go down in the middle of that skyward dive, and now MJ and Base Stola in a tough spot here. The bubble going to go down as there's the defensive bombardment. They may be just trying to hunt for some kills here. We'll see what they can do.
They know the Caustic is around them as well. They saw the barrels as they were peeking across inside the water right now. Few buildings are in play, but the teams that ended up taking the big buildings inside of Hot Springs are still gonna have to poke out. RFE ends up going down. That CDE now knocked out. We're down to 10 squads, 27 players remaining. That's 3 players missing, one of them here from the Most Hated squad, as Spaced just tapping on long with all those ultimate excels. He had just used his defensive bombardment. He will have another one ready. Mutuals only. Well, to find this building, and it looks like it is safe, so they can play off the corners here, as a lot of teams starting to show up, starting to make their way on out from that Hot Springs area.
Yeah, this building looks like, okay, just part of the building is inside of the zone. That northeastern corner does give them a little bit of safety, so they do not have to abandon this building just yet. As we jump over here, they are Gas Station Gaming, our team in first place. Back-to-back winners and looking to make it 3 in a row. Does not appear that they have any KP yet, but they don't seem to mind. They were, slow starters in the KP department in game number 2. They were still able to play out those late circles very effectively and grab the win, and they are established nicely in one of these buildings in the circle. So Gas Station in a very nice position as Give No Respect looking to push for this slope. Internet Gaming has been taken out as MJ actually able to pick up another couple of kills there, and somehow they're making it work as the action continues. Gas Station Gaming dealing with one of these teams, heading back up to the second floor here, just trying to defend their position as best they can.
Really unnecessary for Rambo to go for that peek. He really didn't need to challenge that. There's still too many teams alive to go for that safely. He does it. Icy picking up 1 kill there onto Dash. That's going to be Precision Gaming now. Knocked out. 8 squads left. Jets is able to make it back and cover just in time. You can see why it's so dangerous to peek out basically in the center of the zone and center of circle here with so many teams still alive and a lot of angles that you leave yourself vulnerable to for the time being. And Gas Station Gaming realized one of the bigger threats is going to be that team to their southwest. They have to be worried about the squad coming in. Now you leave them with one option, push the team underneath them instead and Give No Respect, trying their best to climb on up right now, and it looks like they will have a little bit of purchase here on the ledge to play off of, so they can take their time. 19 seconds before the final ring starts closing in, and they'll slowly creep up. They've got the fence line to play off of as well, but you can see the charge rifle shots looking to cut their heads off.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how this goes. There's multiple teams going in for the peak. Mutual's only taken out, and nicely their frag out actually able to pick up a kill in the chaos. So well played peak there from frag out, and Give No Respect able to just another point there is 96. Frag out with the quick peek with that bow check, doing work here and maybe hunting to finish off these kills as Nades is down. And Give No Respect, they smell blood in the water. They're on the hunt.
Unfortunately for them, it looks like they just really want to try and buy time. They're going to play here off the low ground. They do have that Valkyrie redeploy, so they can avoid all the fighting that's taking place up there. So I like this identification of really try and play as safe and basically off of time. 7 squads remaining. Every squad that goes down, that's an extra placement point essentially that you're picking up here. And so they're just going to allow the rest of the lobby to do the job. Give No Respect though, now starting to push up. Do have, of course, Horizon to deal with as they end up losing out on Highlight throughout all of that. Neg does pick up a few kills for them. Highlight ends up getting thirsted. Neg surviving with a sliver of HP, does get his bat off. Now here it is. They try and push up to that high ground, now getting involved in the third party, but Fragout's got to be careful as he backs away. He ends up losing out on a Neg. Now it's all going to be evasive maneuvers here. That armor swap, keeping Basedola into this most hated, somehow still alive. For how long as the defensive bombardment goes down? Gas Station Gaming find themselves in the top 4 once again. Can they get the three-peat here in game number 3? Things are looking a little bit dire now as Jet is the only one alive, and it looks like they're going to be put a stop to as Mixers comes in to finish them off. And now with the 1v3 as just Based left here as he gets finished off, and Mixers end up taking game number 3.
Well played from the Mixers, and also I have to say well played from Most Hated. They were in a position where it really felt like the only team they had to worry about was Give No Respect, and if they could avoid taking that direct fight, really that position that they were holding on the ramp is not one that teams are likely to actively seek out players on, right? They're going to be very focused on those 2 buildings and trying to defend those positions. So as long as they can avoid getting bodied by Give No Respect from behind, they should be able to stall it out, and they did, ultimately getting second place. So a huge performance. They're able to rat it out there, but of course hats off to Mixers. They've had back-to-back really strong performances here, and they grabbed the win this time around.
It's a very important win for them because not only did they get the win, they deny those points away from Gas Station Gaming, who have been amazingly popping off. I believe they had maybe an 18 or 19 point lead above Mixers, but with this one now, that lead gets cut down to, I want to say, about 3 or 4 points.
Very, very big performance there from Mixers, and it seems like a two-dog race here in our third qualifier. We'll have our fourth game of the night and see if maybe somebody else can steal that lead from Gas Station Gaming. We'll be back with more qualifiers here in just a few.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. Now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the balls and the breaks, I'm talking one chance that was so good for the code. It's one shot. Now the future is yours. Go. We are back and getting ready for game number 4 of our third qualifiers here for Season 5 of Series E Apex Legends. We saw Gas Station crushing it out of the gate, but Mixers on the board with a win there in Game 3. Let's take a look at how our overall standings have panned out through our first 3 games here, and Mixers separating themselves from the pack a little bit, as well as closing that gap with Gas Station Gaming.
Yeah, it's a 10-point discrepancy. I thought it was going to be a lot closer, but Gas Station Gaming still putting in work in game number 3, despite not being able to pick up that three-peat. We saw that they were active in the mid-game there, especially around ring number 5, and so they picked up a good number of kills. So great to see them. Optimal Ambition as well on top 3. But right now, I think the other thing we have to note is that, you know, one of our heavy favorites are really struggling, and it's going to be Team Redeem with only 14 points after 3 games.
Yeah, you know, we were checking the stats for their performances through the first 3 games, and they've been hard gated at 12th place, right? They have, I believe, a 5-kill game and a 6-kill game that makes up a majority of those points. But other than that, they really haven't gotten a lot done so far tonight, and they're really going to need to get, you know, everything you can out of these last 2 games. And of course, you know, we talked about it at the top, right? It is cumulative for the entire qualifier. So even if you have a rough performance, every single point matters. So if I'm Redeem, you need to just have a bit of a mental reset here, focus on these next 2 games and get all that you can out of it. Let's jump into our Mobile One high performance moment here of game number 3, and we head over to our friends at Tap Strafers.
I had an instant smirk on my face as I saw the launch site building. I'm like, yes, this is it. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, just not being able to swivel around, it's so easy to focus down that Valk, you know, without any extra tanking coming in from the other 2 players, unfortunately. That was just beautiful coming out from you, triggered me.
Yeah, and you were very close on the estimate, 116 with the car, and then just the nice, patient peek up high. 1 click there with the 30-30, able to get the knock, and even throws in, you know, a bit of extra damage all the way down for their trouble. So you triggered me with a very clean pickup there, and that was a huge performance for Tap Strafers, at least at the start of that game. They haven't been able to complete it quite yet, so we'll see what they can do here maybe in game 2, but they've shown the shots are dialed in, at least in these early games, so we'll see what they can do. But we're getting ready, of course, for game number 4. We're headed back over to World's Edge, and we'll have to see if maybe Mixers can close that gap further. 10 points behind Gas Station Gaming. And also, you know, want to mention Optimal Ambition has had a quietly solid performance tonight. Still, you know, a bit of a gap, right? 24 points behind first place is not nothing, but all the way up into third, 32 points to their name. And while we haven't gotten to talk about them a ton in those late circles, they're still taking care of business for the majority of these games.
Yeah, a team I think we can easily characterize as a team that's quietly successful. They're one of those squads that end up playing slow throughout the majority of their games, and it's typically when it comes to the final game where they understand what the stakes are and what the actual kind of goalpost is that they need to hit, and they will definitely try and match that pace when it comes to game number 5. Right now, though, being able to maintain a good average, 10 points per game, that's what you're always shooting for in Apex Legends. They are matching that.
Yep, they have themselves in a position to succeed here as we approach the end of our 3rd qualifier. Of course, a reminder for everybody, we will be wrapping up our Season 5 qualifiers tomorrow afternoon. Of course, our broadcasts typically start at 4 o'clock. With qualifiers, it's a little bit later. We are shifting a little earlier tomorrow. Qualifiers will start at 2, so the stream should be live around 4 p.m. Pacific time, so make sure that you don't miss out on that, because we will find out who will be joining Series E Season 5 in just less than 24 hours from right now. You're not going to want to miss it, but we are here in game number 4, and the circle's moving progressively further south. We're headed towards tree and launch site this time around.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit difficult for a lot of our squads on the northern side. We've seen how bad the pileup can be when we have a very heavy pull for these rings, and this time around trying to get into launch site, it's going to be difficult for that team that is down there. For you triggered me in them. It looks like they were able to lay stake to that. They're not going to get 50-50 this time around. Be able to control that beacon on that building, and so if they can continue to play that, that's going to work especially well in their favor. We'll see how things work out. Right now, though, looks like Adu might be getting into a small engagement over on that Fissure side, as they did find an early fight in game number 3. Oh, Farrell taking a moment there. He's like, oh, okay, a purple backpack along with this gold that I already have. That's going to be really nice for mutuals. Unfortunately for them, they're not going to have too much in the way of loot, because the ring is right here on top of them. So they're not going to be able to pick up a lot of the cursory loot, but at least they have that option with the double maxed out inventory.
Yeah, they're going to grab as much as they can get their hands on here near tree as they're going to start headed their way south. Flesh there with that Wingman sung. again, trying to farm up those Evos early and able to get the knock onto Erks. And here comes Void. That is the green light for them to try and chase these players down. That's crack shields on another here as Sung's aim true. In game number 4, going to look to chase there with the Thermites, and here they come. That's another knock as Sung is feeling it with this wingman.
They were looking for this fight in game number 3, and now it finally came their way. They were able to get 2 kill points now and force them back. Oh, charge rifle close up. It's a full team. Sung is a little bit out of position here. He needs his teammates to start showing up here. You can see the nades are coming in. He's down to 1 HP. The missile storm somehow doesn't take him out, and he is alive. He gets a bat off. Team Void narrowly lose out on their caustic, but they're able to back away. BP do not punish that missed position, unfortunately, and that's going to get away from them.
But you want to talk about little margin for error. That was so close, and you know, luckily with the way that missile swarm fired out of the tunnel, Sung able to not get tagged by it and survive with the smallest sliver of health, and Void would get out of trouble. But BP has gotten collapsed on. It actually appears it's just that final rat there of R3G Apathy. Gonna grab the KP there, and it looks like maybe Void is back for more. 72 from Apathy, and here comes the fight.
Now, the bubble's already been used here from the BP side. Might have been able to force them back. And it does look like they're sliding down a bit. If they commit to this, I'd be a little bit surprised, as you know, on the other side, they can do some decent damage. Bursty forced to bat up here. And it looks like, yeah, it will be the disengage. They've already picked up their 2 KP. They can go ahead and back away from this one. So it looks like H&M might have found a fight of their own. Once again, over on that fissure side, I believe, taking out Marksman there. No, it's over down by Dome, excuse me now. As they're looking to finish things off. That's going to be the first kill point coming in for H&M of this game.
Solid look there, able to get on the board early. H&M, we've seen, you know, a few good fights, honestly, out of this team so far today. We saw them in that late circle in game 1, right? We got to watch that fight inside the train car with multiple other teams, but haven't heard from them all that much since. As we jump over to Most Hated, another team that's been looking solid tonight. The Black Hole followed out with the nades. MJ doing work here on the horizon. They've got 1 knock and they're looking for more.
Yeah, things are a little bit scary though, as there was a lot of visual clutter. Sometimes you don't want to get lost in the sauce, and so they do take their time. They at least secure that knock and get that kill point for themselves, but you can see why it was a little bit tentative for them to try and push out. They're not in the best of armor situations here. They don't really need to chase after the kill points. They can just try and play for that late game with 2 games left to go. Again, slowing things down is a good option. Most Hated now dropping down as a full 3 to try and challenge underneath the train tracks. Gonna force that Wraith back into the portal. Will they continue to chase? It looks like it might be a player knocked down on the ground there, so Most Hated will go ahead and push up.
Yeah, it looks like this should just be the Thirst. Oh, it's not actually the player that they had knocked. Nades from Optimal Ambition going to get credit for that kill. There is Give No Respect. Meanwhile, on the western edge of this zone, maybe looking to pick up a little bit of this extra loot near tree, though I can't imagine there's too much here, but will they maybe find some KP in the area? We'll find out soon as they push through this building. They're going to throw down some gas traps from Neg there, and they're just going to hold.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, we've got a server issue. Don't know if it's just our observer or if it's the entire server. Now, this is a reason why we did have to delay the qualifiers by a couple of weeks, and we've been having server issues throughout all of this. So, really hope that we have your understanding of what's going on. Unfortunately, things happen with our servers, and we're just kind of trying our best to roll with the punches here. At least we do have 3 games down, only 2 more to go. So we're just waiting on admins to find out what's happening. But it looks like for now, as we deal with that, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll be able to fill you in on the situation. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the balls in the brakes. I'm talking one chance that was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin. Game over for headaches.
It's going down, 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 it's going right now. They're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice. It's going down, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise. It's going down, we got the right moves, we got the right moves, we got the right moves. It's going down. They're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice. It's going down, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise. It's going down, we got the right moves, we got the right moves, we got the right moves. It's going down.
All right, folks, we are back again. Appreciate your patience there as we had to sort out some server issues. We are redoing game number 4 from the top, and I believe the players are in, and we are already underway. So we're not going to waste your time. We're going to jump right into World's Edge. 2 games remaining in tonight's action, and here we are on board, kicking it off with Convoke Esports.
I'm really glad that we get this remake with so much on the line. I mean, this is going to be the careers for 3 more squads, 9 players for the next 4 or 5 months of Series E. With so much on the line, we got to try and make sure that all of our competitors have their best chances at making it in. Only 3 spots on the line for the next season.
Yep, very, very tight race here between a bunch of different teams. I also do want to note, did find out when I was out in production in between this remake and the original Game 4, we did have an error on our scores, on our overall leaderboard after game number 3. Most hated actually has 30 points, so they are, in fact, right on the heels of Optimal Ambition, just 2 points behind them going into this 4th game. So that race there inside of that top 5, even tighter between those squads.
Yeah, it's incredibly important right now. Most hated started off the day with like I think a 20 some odd point lead over Optimal Ambition. But for Optimal Ambition, it's all about slow and steady to try and make it to the end of this marathon now. Mixers, though, getting some early aggression on. We did note that the ring is pulling up north towards the survey camp area. Unfortunately for Mixers, coming out of Geyser, they didn't get the best of loot here. CDE, triple blues versus the triple whites on the other side of this fight.
Yeah, CDE, they've got the Skyward Dive available if they do want to get out of dodge. They don't seem too concerned at the moment. RFE with that wingman just looking to peek out towards the east here. Couple of pings come out there from the Horizon player, but there are the shots from the bow check that we have seen quite a few players use to quite a bit of effectiveness here in tonight's competition. I imagine that's only going to continue as we jump over to Give No Respect. Big problems here for Frag Out as they're going to go down first.
It's a 1-for-1 exchange, though, until Ledoux gets finished off at the very least. Neg is out of the fight for now, and he's definitely out of the fight with Obsessed taking him out. Now, Alter Ego coming in for the 3rd party down from the countdown side. Looking for a little bit more as they continue to push up to look and get this kill point for themselves at the very least. Little cover to work with, and now he's cracked. Hit for Flesh. That's going to be Give No Respect knocked out here. Alter Ego. That they have to worry about a little bit more in the area. Looks like one was up top, and they do spot him out, trying to get out of here, but Mitten is connecting. Wasn't able to get the knock quite yet. Will be able to reposition. He takes height, and you can see even giving chase with a Skyward Dive. Alter Ego want to finish things off, but Pax actually answers back. Things are looking a little bit dire here for Alter Ego, though. They need to be able to secure this kill point and the kill, but unfortunately, they end up losing out on Polar Bear. Things are going to slow down for them as they have to get the res onto him now.
Yeah, Polar Bear biting off a little more than they could chew there. Does get taken out. At least the squad here from Alter Ego able to avenge Polar Bear's death. They finish Pax off, and they should be able to pretty easily pick up the tag there from Polar Bear, deliver it to the beacon. So really no skin off the back here of Alter Ego as they get a few KP to kick off game 4.
Yeah, they pick up the beacon. Unfortunately for them, they don't have the Skyward Dive, so they can't instantly plug him in, but we are up here at Skyhook. There's plenty of spots, and he just waits out that last player. Getting cracked now, forcing out the bubble. He just needs to wait for his teammate. Doesn't want to challenge 1v1 when he can just wait, and now a defensive bombardment going down. The bubble will fall fairly shortly here. It looks like Mitten was on respawn duty, which is why Obsessed is trying to play this one so much slower now. It's cracked, but he's got the rooftop at the very least. Plenty of time to hit a bat as Polar Bear gets brought back into this game. Obsessed going for that re-challenge now. He'll just back away again. Doesn't bite off more than he can chew. Is just going to wait for his squad here to secure this kill point.
Yeah, you can tell Obsessed learning from their teammates' mistakes here is not going to overpush here. Ultimately finishes it off. That's Inner Nerd Gaming taken out. And Obsessed grabbing an early kill leader here with 3 kills to kick off this game. A great start here for Alter Ego.
Now, Alter Ego, we're at the bottom of our top 8 in our cumulative leaderboard at 43 points starting off the day. So They do need to pick things up so far. 2 games left to go tonight. We joined back on board with Void, who uncharacteristically have not been able to perform so far. Our first 2 games of the day, they had great positions in game number 1 and 2, didn't really convert it. Game number 3 didn't go their way either. Now with another northern zone, and it looks like they have their pick of spots here on the north side. Gas Station Gaming won our first northern game. They were playing this one out as a 2-man. They secured that first win in game number 1. Can they repeat it here?
We got a Gas Station versus Void bout here early in game number 4. And Gas Station started the day, of course, incredibly strong. They had the back-to-back wins, and they're looking to return to that form here in game number 4. And an early fight going their way would certainly bode well for that. Rambo already having picked up the gold shield, has that flatline and the PK. Also important to mention, Skyward Dive available here for the side of Gas Station Gaming. So we'll see what they elect to do here as Jet just trying to kind of use the top of the building for these head glitches, try and get peeks on players out to the north, as Rambo just trying to watch all angles from the backside. Going to throw out a bit of a missile swarm, scout out, see if they can get hit markers there. They won't be able to. This Convoke Esports, meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, taken out early in game 4.
Yeah, we are down to 14 squads, but we did start, I believe, with 17 at the beginning of the lobby. So it's not like there's that many fights. We were, of course, privy to the one that took place up here in Skyhook. I believe 2 teams ended up going down. And here is Most Hated now pushing in. They've got triple purples. They know that team's in the area still, and try and utilize that beacon if they haven't gone the scan already. But it looks like they're just going to go ahead and run past that. So they should be aware of where this ring is pulling. Looking for a fight on the edge. Try to play off of the tunnels to the north side now. Now they get the indicator. They're using the replicators right now as they start to hone in on this squad.
Always dangerous using those replicators. You can give away a lot of information if there is a team in the vicinity, and that's going to be Most Hated getting that info as the black hole, comes out from MJ. A little bit of damage onto that Valkyrie player. Is going to hit the tactile to get a better sightline on this roof. Doing quite a bit of work there with the flatline. Not able to crack the shields, but still a solid bit of damage. Now they're looking for the push into this first floor.
Yeah, they need to stabilize. The fast res went through. They know that the other team could be vulnerable for about the next 15 seconds before that next bubble is up, but unable to take advantage of it quite yet. The defensive bombardment really getting them nothing, so now they don't have roof control. They can't really try and push there, so they're just going to run past. I love this call. They weren't able to really capitalize off of that, unfortunately, and so now what they need to do is just play for the gatekeep. They're going to try and cut them off before they can get over towards the train tunnel, and instead just pressure them that way. So really good pivot coming out from Most Hated here, as they don't fully commit to that fight.
Yeah, I really like it. I agree with you completely, Jamerson. I feel like you see a lot of these teams, and we were touching on it earlier, right? These younger, less experienced teams, they have the mechanical ability, but the decision making maybe lacks a little bit. And that's a play where you would largely see teams kind of fall into the sunk cost fallacy there, right? You've invested the black hole. You threw down the defensive bombardment. You're like, well, we've used all these resources. We have to get the kills, right? We can't just, they can't just be wasted. But I feel like well played from Most Hated. They understand, hey, we don't have the advantage here. We've lost these resources. It's better to play the safe game, get out of here, wait for those cooldowns to come back up, and take that fight once again from a better position. So I think well played, patience, and conservative play there from Most Hated. I think it will benefit them here in the long run as we see that circle headed out towards epicenter here in game number 4.
Yeah, so the teams that decided maybe this is going to go over towards that survey camp side, they're not absolutely punished for it. They have plenty of time to play off of, with which it looks like we do have a skyward dive coming out from one of our squads that were in Skyhook. So it's all positioning here. Liking what I'm seeing coming out of those 2 squads right now. They're just trying to outposition each other. They're playing a game of chess at this point, but very shortly it might just be, a line of scrimmage football coming out as Most Hated will try to push up. But again, it's about avoiding the fight now that things have turned against them. It's really good calls coming out from Most Hated.
Funny, if you want to play that line of scrimmage game, you've got a couple of big boys like a Caustic and a Gibby. Not only does that work in the metaphorical sense, but in in the sense of this game, where you can set up that line with those traps and a bubble. You can do a lot here. Is Carlin gonna get the knock there onto Saucy? As CDE doing work. They're looking for more, and wonderful usage there from RFE of the Horizon Tactical to help secure that kill. Mixers out much earlier than we would have expected in this game. Nick, gonna get quite a bit of damage there from the Arcstar, and here comes the peak. They're in big trouble, backed into a corner.
Oh, they're never able to stabilize. They take damage from their own Arc Stars. Mutuals only, though. Back a cat into a corner. They got claws. They'll be able to fight back, but they do at least survive for now. The reses come out. Doesn't seem like a third party's coming in. That's going to be CDE knocked out. We're down to 12 squads now. 33 players remaining here in zone number 3. So, despite starting off with less teams, I was expecting maybe some less action, as there's a lot more room to work with on the rotates. We're still seeing a lot of fighting. Tap Strafers looking to come in for a very late third party here, but they're giving them too much space. They've completely stabilized now. It's going to be a full 100 HP fight that they have to take.
Yeah, that reset, very, very key, and now Tap Strafers pushing in with much less of an advantage here. And also this position, you know, there's no threat from a defensive bombardment here from Tap Strafers, so we'll have to see. They'll have to force him out here, but a lot of damage there from you. Triggered Me with the car, once again, doing work with it. Now looking to chase through the bubble, not going to knock that player, but maybe looking for the chase.
Oh, he almost took out that Caustic, but he has forced back behind cover. Goes for the reach challenge. Gets the knock onto Lifty. Now it's a 3v1. Blake needs to heal up, though, along with Real. They should be safe in being able to finish this one off. They're slowing things down good. Not letting the momentum of the fight really get them carried away, as another great peek from Triggered Me. That's going to be mutual only. Now knocked out. 11 squads remaining here in zone number 3.
Really well played there from Tap Strafers. We were worried about them allowing that reset, but honestly, doesn't much matter. The shots are clean. You Triggered Me still doing work here at close range with the SMGs, and able to clean up there. As Alter Ego looking to push into this building. They're going to throw down those caustic traps to trap this team inside. Obsessed still holding on to that kill leader title, and maybe looking to add to that total. Gonna peek in here. Traps are down. Not a lot of sight here, but it isn't going to much matter, as there goes Oxy. Redeem out once again. They do crack the top 10 for the first time today, but it doesn't much matter as Alter Ego take them out.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate so far. Day number 3, and they are not performing to the expectations that we have of Team Redeem. This is the worst night so far that we've seen out of them. Maybe they crack 20 points by the end of the night if they keep up this performance, but you need more than that, especially when we have such a close race amongst our top 5 currently. I believe Optimal Ambition, they were only separated by about 30 points from Team Void at the beginning of the day, but they've made up for lost time. And now on board with that team, Optimal Ambition, they're just gatekeeping here from the south side of Epicenter. The teams that are trying to come out from that fragment side are going to find it difficult to make their way past.
Yeah, that high ground peeking down towards Fragment with the G7 Scout. Got to feel great here for Blake, is now just hunting for any players hiding in and around these different buildings, this different little bits of cover, and has found one team. That's going to be a crack onto the purple armor. The aim, so nice. That's going to be Flesh. Cracked another shield, and Blake looking for more Arc Stars. Here they come. Maybe a defensive bombardment soon, as that's going to be a knock, and now do we see Optimal Ambition go for the push?
Oh, Blake taking out Blake. Love to see it here. Is now Alter Ego, though, coming up behind. You got to be careful. A lot of teams can end up showing up. I like that Alter Ego were able to at least get their way out of Survey Camp, but they might have to peek back on in. Getting challenged too much from the high ground here. You can see across the ways. Now, they can try and creep from building to building, use a lot of the coverage that they'll be provided throughout all of this. It looks like Optimal Ambition do secure that thirst, that initial knock that they were able to get. We'll see if they can get the full squad wipe and control that south side to themselves, because they're going to have a difficult rotate if they don't finish this squad off. You can see that they do have purpose in this push. They need to get rid of this back, and with that, they'll be able to clear themselves a path for this rotate up.
You Triggered Me taken out there by Optimal Ambition. The squad's still alive, so they may have a rat somewhere in that southern part of the zone, but they're going to have a tough time here. 10 seconds until circle number 4 closes, and Most Hated, they do have the high ground here up in the middle of Epicenter, but they are going to have to vacate this position fairly quickly. Zone does not bless them in mid Epicenter. As down goes Joezilla. Nice little pick there from Blitz with that charge rifle, able to knock the Valk, and they may be looking for more.
Right now, this position is a little bit more vulnerable. Once this circle closes, it'll be a lot more playable, as a lot of those positions will basically be backed up. Most hated, unfortunately, end up losing out on base, but they do trade back at the very least as they try and make the push onto Gas Station Gaming. Rambo has fallen. It's a 2v1, but another team has shown up. I believe that was the team that was up top as Mar turns the corner, but now once again the ring at his back. He is forced to push forward, but that gravity lift ends up disrupting things. I don't think he makes it out of gas. He will go down. Gas Station Gaming have been knocked out here, and finally Team Void starting to show up. Another team that we were expecting big things of. Now here in game number 4, they are starting to make some headway on the board.
Not only is Gas Station Gaming out, but Most Hated as well quickly follow that squad. So now there's a void, you could say, at the top of the standings here, and one team named after that looking to take advantage as Blitz going to get a knock there once again on Joezilla. Great work so far with that charge rifle. Sung and the squad finally looking for the pop-off, looking for the victory that has evaded them since game number 2 of yesterday's qualifiers, and they may have one here in their hands. Arm Assist eliminated. It's now top 4. H&M biding their time. Hundreds doesn't want to reveal their position until they have that peek, and they'll get some damage there, but not a knock.
Really unfortunate. Arm Assist has a great position on top of that crane, and typically in a game in you know, zone number 5, it's still playable, and unfortunately for them, it's just that the game state is so awkward. 4 squads make that. At zone number 5 is not something that you're expecting. It's a position you can usually play, but without teams challenging each other's angles, it leaves teams like H&M free to try and go free peek that, and so that spot became very bad for Arm Assist. So now the crane is free. It's going to be a position that can easily be playable now once you get that Valkyrie redeployed. Get back up top there. Do that unchallenged. We do have, looks like, more kills coming in the way of Team Void currently as Sung picks up one. Alter Ego is just going to be obsessed, ratting this one out for his squad.
Still holding on to Kill Leader. Has been a really great performer for the team into this game and is looking to get just a little bit more. Is going to be able to hit the jetpack up on top of the crane here, and there's 3 death boxes here. What do you know? Obsessed finding a nice little stash here on top of the crane and is going to be safe and just can fire from high ground here. On to Optimal Ambition as being an absolute nightmare for the squad. Will go down, and now we're down to our top 3, and look at this. It appears to be Void's game to lose.
It's going to be Optimal Ambition, Team Void, along with H&M. But it looks like the other squads have fully committed onto each other. Muzen getting the knock onto Nades. Void want to push in, but not quite sure what the state of this fight is. They know that one has gone down. They don't know if there's a trade quite yet. Boxa T trying his best to survive inside of that gas. As you can see, Ack now trying to go for an angle below. He has been challenged. He's trying to reconnect with the rest of H&M. Borden is going to allow him actually get back. Oh, the last shot. B. Borden with that 30-30 ends up getting the knock now, and now it's going to allow him to try and freely push up, but squad calls him back and he decides to try and slow things down a little bit more.
Both H&M and Void with their best performances of the night, and one of them likely to grab the victory here. Boxa T, the last remaining member there of Optimal Ambition, you can see just hiding behind what little cover he could find, but has been spotted by Borton. And this 30-30 has been on point so far, but somehow Sung has been knocked, and this is going to signify the push. Here comes H&M.
They know that it's just the solo behind them now, but they're getting punished. Borden is connecting. Hundreds
Oh!
will fall. The bubble res not quite there as it gets challenged, and so now Void need to use this rest of the bubble to try and heal up as Musin shows up. This might be an opportunity for Optimal Ambition now with the trades to come in and maybe steal away this win, but Void, they still have 2 up. It's going to be a 1v2 as Nades is going to try and claw this one back, but he at least secures top 2 for Optimal Ambition here. And the 2v1 might be a little bit too much for him to handle. The barrels have been laid down. Doesn't seem like he's got a Nox gas grenade, and he doesn't have shields. Void finally coming up with a much-needed victory here in game number 4.
Jamerson, H&M had the game in their hands, but they fumbled the bag. And Void come out with the win. I will say, well played from both Blitz and Borton with Sung knocked. They were able to walk a fine line around that bubble shield, push H&M away, and Borton with that 30-30 as Hundreds was trying to aggressively push for the kill. Could not miss his shots there, and it played a huge role in grabbing them that win.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping track of the Gibraltar bubbles. I don't know if they didn't have it or not, but that's definitely a situation when you get that knock and you want to try and capitalize. You kind of needed to use it there instead of actually just trading away because you're just running out in the middle of nowhere. So small mistakes will come to bite you in the end, but still a much well-deserved victory. Void, second chance at taking a northern zone, and this time they capitalize on it.
Very well played from Void, and now that'll make things very interesting on our standings here tonight. We have one more game ahead of us, and it promises to be a banger. We'll have to see which team comes out of the fray with the most points and set themselves up for a huge performance tomorrow. We're going to a quick break right now. When we come back, though, we'll finish off our third qualifier for Series E.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the balls in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that I was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
For nothing, baby.
A huge performance from Void in game number 4 jumps them right up into the conversation near the top of our standings as we have one game remaining in tonight's qualifiers. Jamerson, it's been a hell of a run here through 4 games. I would say game 5 likely to deliver in just the same way. What have you kind of taken away from the first 4 games we've seen here?
Yeah, I mean, so far Void do rectify the mistake that they kind of made in game number 1, letting that northern zone pull away, get away from them. This time around, though, a lot more control on the north side. Luckily for them, the game state, I would say, of game number 4 was very awkward. So many teams were out early on, and so they were a lot more free on that north side. But also, I want to say I'm loving what Optimal Ambition are doing so far. They're playing their play style. Whether this is qualifiers or something that's, higher stakes later on in like a grand final situation or LCQ, they're still playing their game style, which is very slow, very methodical. It's very position forward. It's very placement forward. And that's how they've been able to capitalize off of a lot of these games, maintaining that 10 point per game kind of average throughout the night.
It's looked really good for them. Let's take a peek at our overall standings here through 4 games, and there it is. Void with a huge performance in that last one. Jump ahead of Mixers here, and they are within reach of first place. Gas Station Gaming still feeling pretty good. They're 11 points ahead in first place, and if they have 8 to 10 point gain here, they should probably feel comfortable grabbing the win. But of course, as we've mentioned throughout tonight, every point matters. You should be trying to grab as many as you can with every opportunity that you have. So we'll see what they do. Let's jump into that Mobile One high performance moment before we drop onto World's Edge for the final time here tonight. And it's Tap Strafers with a pretty clean fight here.
Yeah, You triggered me once again. I believe, yeah, the car in another situation where he's just absolutely beaming. We thought they were taking this fight a little bit too slow, allowing the reset to happen, but it doesn't matter. Once the challenges happen, You Triggered Me was just winning them left and right. And again, with the backup of Real, they slow things down. They take stock of basically where this fight is. They don't push into the gas, getting thirsty for the kills. They know they've got the man advantage, and they finish it off strong.
Yeah, honestly, really well played. And I mean, I think you would probably agree. You Triggered Me, one of the, individual players I've been most impressed with tonight. Multiple standout plays. We throw back to, and that's interesting enough, 2 high-performance moments specifically for You Triggered Me, because we go back to the Valkyrie knock in game number 3, and then this one here in game 4. Really looking good so far tonight, and hoping we can continue to see You Triggered Me competing. If whether they qualify or not, come out and compete in open night. Would love to see you continue to play. We are ready to go, though, and jump into our final game of the night. Important to note, as you will see at the top right of your screen, 13 squads left. It does tend to happen. Some squads maybe, don't feel like they have a chance to hit those qualifications. It's difficult as qualifications get on. Those cumulative points matter. So the lobby a little bit thinner here later on in the night.
Yeah, no one likes to see it. I mean, I don't think anyone's more disappointed than you or I whenever things like this happen, because it's just not the best look for a scene when things like that happen. So it's really unfortunate. Hopefully, teams can go thicker skin at the end of the day.
Sure.
Just you continue to realize that, like, hey, you need every little bit of experience if you want to try and make it in esports. If you want to try and make it in Series E and any other kind of contest, you need to stick to it through thick or thin, because at the end of the day, there's a huge gap between you and the top teams. You need every single shot at gaining experience in competitive, and you cannot waste it.
Yeah, every game is an opportunity to learn and to improve. So I hope that, not going to call out anybody specifically, but any team tonight or in the past or future that has that moment where they're a bit too frustrated and they want to step away, try to understand and take that step back and know that, hey, it is more valuable to me as a player and to me as a competitor to stick with it, to keep playing and try and get everything out of this event. So we'll see how that pans out in the future. But we are into our final game. 13 squads on the board, and we're headed up to the northeast once again with that circle up near Epicenter.
Yeah, Void were able to basically turn around their fortunes in game number 4 and rectify the mistakes they made in game number 1 when they had another northern pool. This time around, it's going to be a very similar case. That north side is going to go largely uncontested. They'll be able to play until top 5 without really having to take any fights. CDE running an early fight here over at West Frag. They're going for very fight heavy. Carlin is on that Bloodhound. Beast of the Hunt has been popped. RFE needs some time, though, as he has been cracked. But Carlin now dropped down. 80 HP. RFE will fall as he tries to challenge with that grav lift. Carlin with a quick armor swap as he loses out on Nyx. And CDE, they thought they had the advantage in the fight. They thought they laid the trap. But now they are forced to run.
Yeah, now RFE running for the hills of Voids is going to go down, but that's actually one of the members of Gas Station Gaming. Icy in the area, able to get the knock with that wingman, and possibly looking for more, though the bubble shield will go down, protect the rest of Mixers here. And this is a really important game for Mixers. They only had a 1-point performance there in game number 4 after their huge win in game 3. They have jumped into the conversation here big time in our qualifiers. So Mixers recognizing they need to get as much out of this game and specifically as many points as possible leading into our final qualifier tomorrow. So we'll see how that playstyle changes a little bit. But we jump on board Gas Station Gaming. Here we got Jet with that Sentinel, and we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, Gas Station Gaming, I mean, they've had an amazing night. For a team that's not in the top 8 or at the beginning of the day on our cumulative leaderboard, correct me, I don't know if they played in nights 1 or 2, but already they have basically propelled themselves into a top 8. So if they have another repeat performance, they could easily get top 3, but not if Rambo ends up going down. He somehow survives. He's still getting ticked away. Charge rifles just ticking for 3 damage, a little bit here and there. They do end up making their way onto this bridge and surviving, heading off the heels. The Phoenix kit will be used by Rambo. You can see his team huddling around him, making sure he does not go down.
I can say that Gas Station did compete, at least in the first qualifier. They were playing with a little bit of a different roster. They had Clinical, formerly of Team Rice Krispie Streets, playing with them. Didn't have the best performance there, but they're looking really good here tonight with the roster they have brought to the table. And we'll see how they can close things out as we jump over to Void and Borton there with that 30-30, trying to hit some damage up towards the high ground as Sung gonna drop down some traps here to cover their backside. They are just barely outside of epicenter here as CDE eliminated Optimal Ambition, getting on the board early.
Really nice for Optimal Ambition, a team that has been slowly quiet throughout all the nights, throughout our night so far. Again, hitting that 10-point average. They're currently sitting at 43. It's really great for them, especially when they were sitting at 5th overall at the beginning of the day. And that's going to help them get into triple digits essentially here by the end of the night, and a really good footing once we head into our final qualifiers tomorrow night. For Team Void, though, again, it's about maintaining the position at the top. It hasn't been the greatest of nights so far, but if you get 2 good games in a row, really, we've seen how often 2 good games at the end of the night can really reverse the fortunes. For H&M, though, it's Joey Blackout that ends up getting a knock onto hundreds here, and he might fall. It's again Moosin trying to help his buddy out. So it looks like all the charge rifles are squared on them currently.
Yeah, Redeem turning their eyes towards that tower, but the bubble shield will protect the squad here. It's funny, talking about Optimal Ambition, that consistency, those 10 points per game that you're talking about, it's really giving me flashes of Team Excedrin from our qualifiers for Season 4. Kimchi Lee and the squad, the biggest takeaway I had from them in qualifiers was while they weren't lighting the lobbies up, they were just consistently putting points on the board game after game after game, and that was how they qualified for Season 4, right? They didn't have to come out and blow the lobby away. They just knew, hey, if we just keep things rolling and we have that same solid performance game after game, those points will add up over the qualifiers. It worked out for them then. We'll see if Optimal Ambition can do the same this time around.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of just maintaining, you know, a position to get top 5 or top 6, a few kill points here. They're not getting overly thirsty for anything, and I think that's one of the best skill sets to really try and hone down, especially here in qualifiers, about being able to temper your expectations and temper your aggression. When you know you have the game plan of just hitting those points, making sure that you get the 8, 9, 10 points, and they are doing that. For HNM, though, they need a little bit more. They need to pick things up just a bit. They've had some slivers of good performances, but so far no big game for them. It's round number 1 finishing, closing now. They've got the ring information, so maybe this is the game for them.
Yeah, and their best performance was the last game, 6 kills. They did finish in 3rd place, not as much as they were hoping for, as certainly they felt like they maybe had that fight with Void in the bag in the late circle that they weren't able to finish off, but at least H&M got a good chunk of points on the board there in game 4, and we'll see if they can build off of that here as they're taking some damage. Moosin trying to get some work done here with that bow check, hitting quite a few shots there, 44 on the purple, maybe looking for one more as a player jumps up on the roof, but patient, slow, and steady play from H&M here.
Yeah, their economy is a little bit low, it seems like. I mean, 2 bats in the hands of Moosin, so they can slow play things. They've got that pylon down. It seems like it has plenty of charge left in it. So if you're taking these trades with the bow check, it's okay. You can see he's going to go ahead and top off once again. I don't quite agree with hitting the cell there, as you have plenty of time. So few teams are remaining in the lobby now that you got to understand that a lot of these positions are going to be safe for some time here. Now we do have, looks like Give No Respect chasing after a squad who ended up using that Valkyrie redeploy. Very similar situation to what we had, I believe, in the last game.
This is an aggressive play from Give No Respect. They see the Skyward Dive come out and they say, let's get after him. My ultimate's available. Let's go, says Frag Out. And here they come. They've got the information. They know where these players are. They're going to get control of these buildings. And the question is, how aggressively do they want to push as we jump over to Mutuals Only? And Optimal Ambition actually out in this game, and Mutuals Only in trouble themselves.
Oh, they've lost out on Ajani. They lost out on Lifty. Farrell's the only one up, hitting the bat now with that Nox Gas grenade just to cover himself from one angle. Still leaves himself vulnerable from the other, but it looks like H&M and really spotted out exactly where he is. So he's healed up for the time being. He's going to pray that H&M move out of position here. But again, there's 45 seconds until this zone closed. They can just wait around here, honestly, indefinitely, and just kind of camp the banner and make sure he does not get the res.
Yeah, definitely nice play here from H&M, even if they can't clean up that last kill here at the moment. They are pretty stocked up. Their economy looking nice here. Flatline and the G7 Scout here for ACK. They've got the defensive bombardment available. They're established well here in the southeastern part of the zone, and they've got to be feeling pretty comfortable in this final game, carrying that strong performance from Game 4. While they were pretty quiet through the first 3 games, they're looking to finish on a high note here in these third qualifiers.
It's really unfortunate for Optimal Ambition there. They were playing off of that platform just above the sewer manhole, and they did use that quite successfully, I believe, in game number 2 when we have the Overlook game, but this time around just not able to hold it. Too many teams are gone. That made that push free, and they ended up getting challenged. You know, in any other case, in any other zone, or in any other game state, they don't get pushed there. They're able to play that for free, but you can see how few teams are still remaining, how much ground is available, and you can see another full push onto that same platform. Once again, H&M this time looking to defend.
Oh yeah, they're getting into it here as mutuals only. Feral actually able to get a Johnny back, so that's huge, but Feral going to get knocked here. Real with the R301 as the defensive bombardment going to come down as we jump over to Tap Strafers. Real going to put down that portal for their team, and as the zone closes, Tap Strafers, I would imagine, looking to push up and maybe finish off that squad, though not forcing the issue here too much. As actually, there it is, mutuals only finished off. Z Davis able to clean up the rest of the squad here, and now we're down to just 9 remaining here as we're waiting for that third circle to close.
Yeah, this is just so awkward for a lot of our squads, right? Because, you know, you look at how many squads are remaining, and typically that's kind of like your mental check-in. It's like, oh, okay, if we have 9 squads, you know, you see 9 squads remaining, you're thinking this is like zone number 4, zone number 5, but no, it's still zone number 3. So you can't let your guard down. You have to still be wary of teams that might be slow rotating out from the zone. I don't think you have to worry about it, but there are just so many things that throw you off when you're left in this awkward game state.
Yeah, I mean, that number at the top right of the screen says pub, but this is not a pub game. These are much better teams. They know what they're doing. The rotations are going to be much cleaner and more calculated, so you have to temper that aggression, adjust here. And with 9 squads remaining, you know, recognize that you're going to have a little bit more space to work with, trying to establish yourself for these late circles. So we'll have to see how these teams adjust to this different situation. Give no respect up on the bridge, which is at least partially in the zone here, but they see a team using that replicator. Is that dome going to come down from the enemy? Gibby Ned going to try and get some grenades out there as the Arc Star comes through, but Jet and Gas Station Gaming, who are down here, will get themselves inside. They've got the Black Market Boutique to loot up real nice, and even a second one ready to go there from Jet, so they're just getting all the loot they can find.
Yeah, they are starving for nothing at this point. I mean, of course, you can continually hit that for more ammo when you need. So right now, it's all about making sure you have all the attachments that make you feel extremely comfortable with whatever gun you're rocking. I mean, how often do you even see the 410 being used? That sniper scope being used not often at all, but that affords Jet huge sight lines. Take a look. Now, they're keeping an eye on the rocks that are over to their southeast, and the thing is, the ring is pulling over there. They don't know it quite yet, but they should be relatively safe to be able to take a Valkyrie redeploy once zone number 4 starts closing. This is still zone number 3 closing, but for zone number 4, it should be free for them to try and challenge those rocks later on.
The 410 feels like such overkill, especially on a longbow. But hey, we'll see what Jet can do. Has been a pretty good player with those long-range weapons so far tonight. As Highlight looking to bust that door down. He's going to go for a little bit of a flank on the other side. Steps in with the R301. That's flesh on one player. And Rambo going to go down, and they're going to look to clean up the rest. Jet is down here. Give no respect, though, losing a couple of members, but it's not going to matter. Gas Station Gaming, your leaders on the leaderboard going into Game 5 are out, and here comes Void.
Big connect with that Nox gas grenade. He's going to sneak in a few more barrels there, but he's allowing the gas to do all the work for him. Waits until it's critical HP to go for that peak. Sung now getting the knock and the thirst onto Highlight. Now he's looking for more somehow through the gas. Oh boy, that Valkyrie's just completely lost, and now that's going to be Give No Respect getting cleaned up by Void. Great time for them to wake up in the last 2 games of the day to make up for a slower start in the first 3.
I mean, Void look like they're ready to bookend nights 2 and 3. They started with 2 wins in our second qualifier. They're looking to finish with 2 in qualifier number 3, and this is huge from a Void squad that, as you mentioned, we did not hear from a whole lot through the first 3 games. And now they have come alive here and are looking to finish on that high note. H&M here inside of the tunnel in the southern part of the zone. Another squad looking to finish on that high note. Skyward Dive available for hundreds, but isn't going to do them a whole lot of good in here. We have to see if Lucen and Ack, the rest of the squad, want to go for the push, but that's a lot of damage there on Ack. It's going to force out the shield, and here comes the push. Big trouble for H&M.
Yeah, this is such a difficult fight to take. You can see no coverage whatsoever, just blind peeking or just dry peeking that corner. You get absolutely punished. Mixers bide their time. And the big thing was that there was just no utility for H&M, and oh no, the third party's coming in. Hoshi tried to cover the line for his buddy, but you can see Team Redeem showing up to look and finish things off here. Saucy goes down. Oxyaries picks that one up. Redeem looking to finish out game number 5 strong here. Another team that hasn't had the performance that we were quite expecting for, but hey, no, your mental can definitely get turned around. You just want to carry the momentum into the last day instead of the last game.
So unfortunate there for Mixers after the 1-point performance in game number 4. They were looking to have a bounce back here in game 5, and after winning that fight, it may have happened, but the timing for the push from Redeem absolutely punishes Mixers. They get taken out, and guess what? Everybody's trying to pile into the tunnel one after another as Void have finally gotten their invite. They're here for the party. They're trying to hunt down Redeem, and it appears Redeem has taken that zip up to the high ground, so Void will just get to loot up all of these boxes, and they'll be just chilling here in the tunnel.
Yeah, again, it's just this awkward game state. This is not a push that you would see typically. You know, that's usually a free reset for Redeem. They'll be able to get all that loot, but because of how few teams there are, how many angles aren't being typically challenged or held, and allowed Void to try and go for that push, but luckily, Redeem were quick on that reset, able to get out. They didn't try and fight for it again. They just want to make sure they get all the points possible. They started off the night 11 points down, I believe, up against Team Void. Both squads having difficult nights so far. They just want to make sure they finish this night out strong, like I said. Carry this momentum into the final day more than anything else, and forget about the first 4 games of the night.
Tap Strippers still alive. Void and Redeem as well. 2 other squads here as we wait for this 5th circle to close. Less than a minute until we get there. 14 players remaining, so 1 team down a player. And we'll see how it plays out in these final circles of the night. It's been a hell of a qualifier here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I've certainly enjoyed the games. I hope you have as well. One final reminder, of course, we're going to have some fun tomorrow as well with our final qualifier for the season. Games start at 2 o'clock. The stream for the finals should start around 4, so don't miss out on that. And Jefferson, you sound pretty excited over there. What's that about?
Yeah, we're getting our Newcastle sighting of the day. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see him, but, you know, I understand with so much on the line, you don't want to really shake things up and really learn a new legend. I know that in pubs, people like Albert Laley have been trying him out, but now I guess in game number 5, might as well see how far this can take you. Right now, Armistice are in top 5 with it. They don't have too many kills, it seems like. I think Joe might have picked up 1 or 2. 740 damage there for El Marksman. No kills, unfortunately, for him. He's getting really greedy, or maybe he's just out of heals as he's not healing up that armor for himself.
Ooh, Joe with the 2-4 on that flat line. Wreaking havoc on these players. Gonna get a bit of a tag there. The arm shield up for that Gibraltar, and Joe has to back away. Gonna hit a syringe here. It would seem like maybe all of Arm Assist low on heals there. Meanwhile, Redeem, they've got the high ground. They've got triple red Evos, plenty of KP to their name, and they're looking to get a win under their belt here.
Yeah, for Armistice, I mean, if you hit your syringe first, that's typically a sign that you have nothing else. It is your last resort at that point, and so they might have literally been bled dry in terms of heals. For Team Redeem, though, they've been able to play off of Z Davis's pylon extremely well. That interception pylon helping them go for easy trades, get the natty heal. You can see Oxyaries took some poke, but he instantly healed it back up as that armor check onto purple. It's going to be a little bit difficult for this next zone, though. They could try and walk things in by dropping down to the base of that tower, but they're going to wait things out for as long as they can. Team Void just to the north, controlling the car, controlling the corners there as El Marksman ends up going down, and no surprises there. I don't believe he had any shields, so Born instantly getting that thirst.
Yeah, Sung having to retreat back in here and hit the battery. One thing I'm realizing here is that another knock-on effect of less squads on the map is you have less inventories bringing loot into these later circles, right? With less teams available, that means, you know, all of that loot available on the map does not get brought into the circle as easily. So that might be part of the reason that Arm Assist is so low on heals, is they haven't been able to get it from other players. It's Borton getting a knock on base, Stola, and now Void kind of spread out here in this circle, trying to control as much space as they can, but that's going to be Sung getting knocked. That's huge for Redeem and a big problem here for Void as Arm Assist gets taken out. 4 squads remaining in our final game of the day. Bubble Shield going to go down. Redeem, they don't have to rush this. They can play time here. They don't have to push until they're ready to go. They're going to drop down now with the bubble, and they're looking to finish with a win.
Oh boy. Oxyaries does have to be careful as he does get cracked. Borton ends up getting the knock onto base, and now Void, they need to push forward. Losing out on Sung was very unfortunate. Blitz is the only one remaining here. Most hated has fallen. Blitz only able to secure top 3 for his squad. It's going to be a 3v3. Tap Strafers versus Redeem. Our final fight of the evening. And oh, the humanity. The defensive bombardment along with that 301 taking out Blake. This is going to be Redeem with the redemption in game number 6.
Living up to their name in the final game of the day. Z Davis in the squad on the board with the win that they have been looking for all night. It has been a roller coaster here for this squad, but they finish out strong. Well played from them in a very weird, I'll say, final game of the day, but they took advantage and come out strong.
Yeah, again, that's just something that you have to learn, especially when you play through qualifiers. It's a different skill set, being able to play a game in this kind of game state. And so I'm glad that they were able to bounce things back just a bit, especially end the night strong. They were one of our top competitors. They were in the top 8 when we started off the night. They should be able to maintain that position going into the final day of qualifiers tomorrow.
Yeah, it's got a lot on the line tomorrow. We still have a lot on the line here tonight. A little bit of math left for us to do. So right now, Jamerson and I are going to go to a quick break. But when we come back, we'll have that final leaderboard, our final high-performance moment of the night. So don't go far. We'll return in just a few.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true spot trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance that was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
Eccentric.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
It's going down, 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 it's going right now. They're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice, they're gonna hear our voice. It's going down, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise, we're gonna make some noise.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. Now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the bars and the breaks, I'm talking one chance that was so good for the go. It's one shot. Now the future is yours. Let's go.
Excedrin.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin. Game over for headaches.
Some noise.
apologies for the long break there, but they tried to make me do the math for that final leaderboard, and that is the worst mistake you can make. But Jamerson and I are returning here to take a look at our final results for today's qualifier. And let's just bring the leaderboard up right now. We can get our first reaction to it, Jamerson. It was a crazy race to the finish here. We ended up with a tie at the top of the standings, and I can confirm, thanks to our TOs, Gas Station win the tiebreaker. They take first place tonight.
Yeah, they started off extremely strong the first 2 games of the day, I believe. Put them at around 40-something, slowed down in the last 3, but definitely a great showing for them and really puts them on the board. And honestly, if they have another performance and then they can continue to maybe hold the same kind of momentum that they started today off with, things are looking really great for them, but it's still going to be very contentious.
It is, and I'm very curious to see how this has shaken up our cumulative leaderboard for the qualifiers. But before we get there, let's check out our final Mobile One high performance moment, I should say, of tonight's competition. And it was Void here in Sung, just using the caustic and doing very smelly things here.
I think at this point, teams have learned that I think people call it macaroni building, is extremely vulnerable. Oftentimes, you see teams just backing up into that same corner where everyone died. I get taken back to, back in like World War II when they were trying to figure out like, hey, what parts of the planes do we need to armor? And it's like, well, you start armoring the parts of the plane where, like, if planes came back and they survived, those are the spots that you didn't need to armor. It was planes that didn't make it back that, like, you had to kind of work in the negative at that point. And so I feel like this is one of those cases where you see like, hey, everyone's dying over here in this corner. There's a reason why this building isn't as safe as people expect. And so Team Void were able to take advantage of that. And it's funny because, the same fight again, this was a third party, ultimately a very slow third party that came a little bit delayed, but the same point was proven that teams end up backing up into that corner and don't quite defend it well.
It was well played from Void and some extremely important KP for them. While they don't finish in first place overall tonight, it is still a big chunk of points for them on our cumulative leaderboard. And let's take a look at that because, of course, we are going into our final day of qualifiers tomorrow, and Void sit atop those standings, 160 points for them. And very interestingly enough, Redeem and Most Hated tied in second place at 127.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate for Optimal Ambition in game number 5 where they weren't able to keep up that average that they had, but the simple fact that the first 4 games for them went well, they were able to put 40 some odd points on the board after 5 games, puts them within reach. They're not in the top 3, but they are on the bubble. But it was Gas Station Gaming who had some high octane gameplay for us in the first 2 games of the day that really propelled them up here. Now they definitely stand a chance to try and break into the top 3. So things aren't safe for Redeem or for Most Hated. Void has to feel fairly comfortable if they can kind of replicate a performance like Optimal Ambition had today, where you're just, you don't do anything flashy, you just get the job done. They definitely secure a spot in the top 3.
High octane performance. I see what you did there, Jamerson. Yeah, Void, of course, definitely feeling very comfortable there at the top of the standings, and really all eyes are going to be on second through 5th place there. Gas Station and Gaming and Optimal Ambition do have their work cut out for them, especially because Redeem finished strong tonight, and Most Hated has really just looked pretty good over the last couple of nights here and should carry that momentum into tomorrow. So the question is, can they make up that ground and hopefully hold down Redeem and Most Hated to give themselves that opportunity, because they need to get into that top 3 to grab that sponsorship for this season, lock down that contract and that monthly salary. And honestly, I can't wait. I know you're going to be back tomorrow, Jamerson. I am as well. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Always love doing these qualifiers just because there's so much on the line. That for these teams that it could really be the start of their careers. I'm not saying we make great teams here at Series E, but we definitely, you cannot contest this. We definitely support them and make it possible for them.
Yeah, it is a huge opportunity, and it's certainly a joy to get to be just at least a small part of these players' stories. So just, again, one final reminder, we're back tomorrow. Games for the qualifier start at 2 o'clock. The stream will be live just around 4 p.m., so make sure you are here for the final games of our qualifiers here will decide the 3 teams that get into Series E Season 5. Jamerson, it's been a pleasure to cast with you. We were talking before the show. It's been about a year since we've been on the cast together, and I would say it's been a very fun return. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you today.
Yeah, I definitely had a great time, and I'm looking forward to do it again tomorrow.
I cannot wait myself. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. It was a pleasure to bring you all of these games. We will see you tomorrow. For myself, Jamerson, the entire live broadcast crew, and everybody here at Esports Arena, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.